Part 4. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 31. Wang Wei dialed the mobile phone of He Zingkui, the head of the operation department. He Zingkui had just finished his work and was driving back to the company. The dynamic dance music was playing in the car. He seemed very excited. He Zingkui likes surging music very much. When he hears this kind of music, his heart will surging. He can imagine many scenes in the music that even he himself can't believe. All of a sudden, he became the most handsome man in the world. All the women said he was handsome, and they were willing to dance with him, ready to take off there and ride on top of him. Upside down, this world exists. Upside down, oneself exists. If not, why live? Suddenly, he became the dancer, and such a warm voice came from his mouth. He is a wonderful creator, and he shocked the ears of millions of people with his wonderful singing voice. When he got to the disco, he would greedily watch the slender legs of the lead dancer dance with the swaying buttocks. When a person was in the company office, he might also dance, and he might to the air. Action, as if he was holding some naked hot girl in his arms. He may also shout, "Lay Zion's pillows, I am He Zingkui, I am the most powerful man in the world." In fact, he is not very tough. He is just a department manager of a company. This company is quite powerful, but all he can get is a salary and a little bonus. He doesn't even own 1,000th of the shares. In the eyes of many strong men, he is just an egg, but there are also some women who regard him as a and hope for his favor. He has little power, but he can easily lead to the dismissal of employees. He often used this to ask female subordinates to take off his pants for him, and he succeeded many times. His thing was very comfortable, and he had a great sense of achievement. Wang Wei is his favorite, but Wang Wei will not take off his pants for him easily. His kind of soft violence will be useless when applied to Wang Wei. If Wang Wei hadn't been pushed into a hurry, she would never have dealt with people like He Zingkui for money. This Mazda was bought by him 2 years ago. Since driving it, he has a great sense of achievement. Although it is not a good car, it runs on 4 wheels on the road. Dee's voice told pedestrians on the road to be careful. He likes listening to music while driving, likes the look of beautiful women on the road looking at him, and likes the beep sound when the door is locked. He Zingkui once played with a female subordinate in this Mazda. That time, he drove the car to the suburbs, and in this small car, he played the female subordinate. That female subordinate was first. And then it was mama mama, and at the end I cried. He Zingkui also really wanted to play with Wang Wei in this Mazdari that was already a bit old. He wanted Wang Wei to ride on his lap. He really wanted to hit Wang Wei hard, so that Wang Wei could be intoxicated or intoxicated. Miserable cry. Seeing that the call was Wang Wei, He Zingkui laughed comfortably, his head shook twice, because he was Wang Wei's creditor now, and he vaguely felt that it was not far from Wang Wei taking off his pants for him. Maybe Wang Wei called him this time just to discuss taking off his pants, when and where to take them off. "Wang Wei, it's you, are you in a better mood? I know you're sad, but with me, don't be afraid." "Director He, I'm not sad anymore. I plan to repay your money today. Come to my single dormitory with an IOU." He Zingkui was stunned. Wang Wei became rich so soon? Where did she get so much money in such a short time? 10,000 whys appeared in He Zingkui's mind, and Wang Wei urgently needed to solve his puzzles. "Don't you want to tell your family? The money was not given by my family, but by my friends." "What friend?" "College classmate," Wang Wei said. "Okay, I'll go right now." He Zingkui is very curious about Wang Wei, a college classmate. He seems to be very rich. He can come up with 80,000 yuan at will. He Zingkui does not know if this person is Wang Wei's boyfriend. It was not before, but maybe it is now. He Zingkui was very depressed. He felt that his dream was going to waste, but aside from his desire to marry Wang Wei, he Zinkui wanted to get the money back. If he couldn't find a reason, if Wang Wei's college classmates helped her bad idea, maybe his money wasted. He is very bad himself, but he still complains that others are too bad. He felt that it was only natural for him to be bad, it was caused by the law of survival, but it was unreasonable for others to be bad. He Zinkui has arrived. Lin Feng finally met this man who had bad intentions towards Wang Wei. He paid great attention to appearance and was very gentle, especially his smile, which was very friendly. It seems that He Zinkui is a guy who looks very gentle and well-mannered, and moves violently and rudely towards women's bodies. Director He, let me introduce, this is my college classmate Lin Feng, a very talented internet writer. He is very rich, but I used to be embarrassed to borrow from him, but I can't help it, I can't keep giving it to you. Interest is paid, so I informed him that he came with the money last night. Wang Wei smiled. Lin Feng is quite pompous, because Wang Wei put a lot of gold on his face just now, and even said that he is rich, but what he lacks most is money. If he is rich, he will also have many other things. If he owns a house of dozens of square meters outside the 5th ring road of Beijing, it would not be a problem to have a relationship with some beauties. If he had a 200 square meter mansion on the East 3rd ring road of Beijing, many beauties would go crazy because of his existence. They would be naked, as if they had never worn since they were born. I don't plan to wear it anymore. Lin Feng, you are very nice, and you are very interesting to your friends. I admire people like you very much. He Zinkui was very polite to Lin Feng, but he hated Lin Feng to the extreme in his heart, and He Zinkui, who was a department director in a large company, naturally despised Lin Feng, a small writer, but Lin Feng could easily give 80,000 yuan to Wang Wei. Still surprised him. He Zinkui also knows that there are some online writers who can make a lot of money. Some make millions or tens of millions a year. Maybe Lin Feng's income is very high. Small cities focus on relationships, big cities focus on financial resources. No matter what a person does, as long as he is rich, he can enjoy life. The money is earned by oneself, and you can draw the honor of 95 every day. The money is earned by myself, and I can hug different women every day. You earn the money yourself, and you can drive a convertible sports car and show an evil smile to the beauties on the roadside. He Zinkui's heart was very strange, and at this time Lin Feng also began to pretend to be a rich man in front of He Zinkui. Lin Feng has never had a lot of money, and his savings has never exceeded 50,000. It was almost 50,000, but he had already lent it to Wang Wei. Lin Feng didn't know if he was pretending, but he really wanted to shock He Zinkui at the moment. Director He, what is the IOU? Wang Wei said. He Zinkui took out the IOU and said with a smile, according to the IOU, you should pay me back 82,400 yuan. Director He, you can't do this. I only borrowed for a few days. How can you charge me a month's interest? If it is less than 1 month, it will be counted as 1 month, He Zinkui said. Wang Wei only prepared 80,000 yuan, and she didn't have any more. She looked at He Zinkui pitifully. Please, Director He, don't ask for interest. This can't be done. I have my principles. 1 month's interest must be paid. I've lent money to others before, and it's all calculated like this. It's your lover's fungus. Lin Feng hit He Zinkui in the face with a punch, and He Zinkui fell to the ground with a scream, blood coming out of his nostrils and mouth. Wang Wei really didn't expect that Lin Feng would attack He Zinkui. She screamed, Lin Feng, don't hit him. She wanted to hold Lin Feng, but Lin Feng's shoulder shook and Wang Wei was thrown aside. Lin Feng grabbed He Zinkui and punched him in the chest and stomach again, causing He Zinkui to scream and beg for mercy. Brother Lin, I don't want the interest for that month. Stop calling me now. I'm afraid of you. He Zinkui started calling Lin Feng his brother. He was very afraid of being beaten. When he was in school, he liked to please those who were bigger than him. Later, he was beaten once in a bar. I let the man beside the beauty open his head with a beer bottle, and he bleed a lot. He wanted to ask for some medical bills, but the other party was very powerful, and he drove a Range Rover. In the end, he could only bleed a lot, that's it. This time Lin Feng beat him even more than the beer bottle. That time, He Zinkui wanted to kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. Director I already know where your house is. I will unlock the lock. I can go to your house to get your wife while you're not there. I can get her from the bed to the floor, and then to the kitchen. Break her, so that she can't give you a second child. I also know which kindergarten your daughter is in. I will pick her up quietly, so that you and your wife will never see her again. I will destroy your door. He Zinkui was almost scared to death. It seems that this time he met a ruthless character who dared to kill someone. He even wetted his pants, his legs were shaking, and both were wet. Lin Feng slapped He Zinkui's head a few times, causing He Zinkui's ears to buzz. Brother Lin, really, I don't dare at all. He Zinkui's head was shaking with all his might, and he was about to lose his mind. Lin Feng punched He Zinkui's back a few more times, and then stopped. He Zinkui's face was swollen, his head was swollen, and his back and arms were all bruised. Wang Wei was also scared to death. She didn't expect Lin Feng to be so cruel. She had never seen Lin Feng be so cruel before. He Zinkui took 80,000 yuan and left. Lin Feng felt that if He Zinkui went to the hospital immediately for an examination, it would have constituted a minor injury. But Lin Feng felt that He Zinkui would not do this. First of all, he gave usurious loans to his subordinates. He felt guilty. If the big boss of the company found out, his position as department director would be lost, and he might be fired from the company. Secondly, he was mentioned just now. His wife and daughter, maybe he doesn't care too much about his wife, but he will definitely care about his daughter. If that little angel disappears, he will be so miserable that even the doctors in the mental hospital can't save him. Lin Feng looked at Wang Wei and found that she hadn't recovered from the fright. He smiled and said, "Look at you, I just frightened him, but I frightened you like this. You beat him like that, he won't take revenge. He's not the kind of person who dares to take revenge. If you look at his virtue, he also dares to take off the pants of women who dare not resist. The most fearful thing for such a person is to be beaten, and the most afraid of it is to encounter hot stubble," Lin Feng said. Wang Wei's face turned a little red. She couldn't help but think, if He Zinkui were to take revenge, would Lin Feng really dare to break into his house and get his wife, and then kill his youngest daughter? In fact, Lin Feng dare not. If he really intends to do this, he will not say it. Since he has said it, he will generally not do it. If He Zinkui really wants to take revenge, he will also think of other ways to deal with it. It won't hurt He Zinkui's wife and daughter. People who don't know Kung Fu might not be able to speak ruthlessly, and they might give people the suspicion of bragging, but for a person who knows Kung Fu, if they beat him first and then say something ruthless, the effect will be very different. Lin Feng felt that 90% of the time he frightened He Zinkui. "Xiao Yi, I'm leaving, you can adjust your mood. Why don't you go to work tomorrow?" "Well, I hope I don't run into trouble when I arrive at the company. If He Zinkui wears me small shoes, I will admit it." "Who asked you to repair him? He shouldn't dare to wear small shoes for you. I guess he respects you more than before, and he doesn't even have the heart to eat your tofu. Surely there will be such a miraculous effect?" Wang Wei can't be sure, she can only take a step by step. Wang Wei took Lin Feng to the side of the road, watched Lin Feng get into the taxi, and did not leave until the taxi drove away. Lin Feng was furious. The guy that Shen Bingqian dumped turned out to be furious, fierce enough. Without Lin Feng, it would be difficult for her to get through the difficulties this time. While grateful to Lin Feng, Wang Wei once again made up her mind that even if she really wanted to make a fortune, she would not play around. What made Wang Wei quite puzzled was that when Lin Feng was dumped by Shen Bingqian in college, why didn't he lash out and beat up that very rich boy, and then beat Shen Bingqian's nose with blood? Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 32. Lin Feng returned to his rented partition room, sat down on a chair and quickly lit a giant panda cigarette that Bai Shan had given him, and started smoking. He wanted to suppress himself. Lin Feng was frightened by He Zhengkui, and at the same time Lin Feng was also frightened. He was frightened by himself. Taking the lead for Wang Wei, first helping her through the difficulties, and then repairing He Zhengkui, Lin Feng felt a great sense of accomplishment, but thinking that his savings of more than 30,000 yuan was less than 2,000 yuan, he was a little depressed again. If you think about having more than 30,000 deposits, it may be a few months later. The money was lent to Wang Wei, but it is actually his, because Wang Wei will pay him back sooner or later, but the money is in the hands of others and in her own hands. The feel in the hand is completely different. But fortunately, he believed that Wang Wei would not hack his money. After paying off Sun Yueling's 50,000 yuan, it was time to pay him back. Even if Wang Wei won't repay his money within a year, he will not put pressure on Wang Wei, not because he wants to date Wang Wei too much, but because he treats Wang Wei too much as a friend. Someone knocked on the door. Lin Feng thought it was Sun Yueling, but when he opened the door, he saw that it was his beautiful neighbor, Cao Shuiying. Cao Shuiying, who was dressed in black and wore leather boots, looked like a female knight, but even if she was a female knight, she would usually not ride a horse, but would ride on a man. Cao Shuiying smiled brightly and walked in. She sat on the chair and raised Erlang's legs. The slender legs wrapped in tight pants became even hotter. Lin Feng, where did you go last night? It's none of your business, go wherever you want. It's very arrogant, I didn't provoke you, what are you arrogant about? Cao Shuiying was a little aggrieved. If you care about my private affairs casually, you're offending me. Where I go or who I with is none of your business, Lin Feng said. Cao Shuiying looked very unhappy, but she quickly laughed again. You little writer, you were romantic last night, did you have a new partner? Lin Feng grabbed the back of Cao Shuiying's neck and pressed down, causing Cao Shuiying's head to hit his leg. Oh rely on me. When it touched my nose, did it bleed? Cao Shuiying's nose was sore for a while, but there was no bleeding. Her two pink fists hit Lin Feng's legs a few times, but they didn't hurt Lin Feng. What does this kid mean? He pressed her head on her leg. Did she want her to use her mouth? You kid just had with another woman, and you want me to use my mouth? Don't be disgusting with me, Cao Shuiying quickly said again. Would you like to take a shower first? Lin Feng didn't take a bath at Wang Wei's house. He really wanted to take a shower now, and then he hugged the beautiful neighbor's delicate body to vent. Wang Wei stimulated him, and he could only vent this impulse on Cao Shuiying. Cao Shuiying is very beautiful, Cao Shuiying is still a college student, Cao Shuiying is very willing to let him go. Lin Feng went to take a shower. Cao Shuiying started playing on Lin Feng's computer. After browsing the web page for a while, she opened the movie and watched it. She was very excited, and her graceful and plump body was burning. Thinking of Lin Feng's thing, Cao Shuiying was even more excited. The magical airflow kept moving in her body, and she had a great desire to exercise. Lin Feng took a cold shower and went back to the partition room. He picked up Cao Shuiying and rolled onto the bed. In a warm kiss, Lin Feng took off Cao Shuiying's leather boots, then pulled down her tights and threw them on the chair, tearing them apart. She dropped her and threw them directly to the ground, rushing into her body bravely. I rely on you, slow down. Lin Feng didn't care about that, he was already carrying Cao Shuiying's legs to move, maybe because Cao Shuiying's legs were too slender, Lin Feng liked to carry her legs on her. After the enthusiasm, Lin Feng stroked Cao Shuiying's slender legs and said with a smile, "If a friend of yours borrows 50,000 yuan from you, would you borrow it?" Cao Shuiying was stunned and wondered, "Why do you ask this? What I hate the most is that others ask me to borrow money. Under normal circumstances, I would not borrow so much money, unless I can guarantee that the other party has a problem with repaying the money. None, and give me interest. How much interest do you want? It doesn't need to be too dark. After all, my family doesn't rely on usury to make money, but restaurants, but at least it should be 3 times the bank loan interest, otherwise, why should I?" Cao Shuiying showed her selfishness so vividly that Lin Feng even felt disgusted, but when he looked at Cao Shuiying's still naked body, he didn't feel disgusted. "Lin Feng, don't you want to borrow 50,000 yuan from me? Don't even think about it, our relationship has not reached that stage, don't think that I have been with you a few times, and our relationship is very strong. If you want to borrow it, at most 500 yuan. I don't borrow a cent, I just asked casually to make you nervous." Lin Feng thought, 500 yuan? You are so dirty. Papa is fine, but borrowing money is not acceptable. I know that you are such a person, so I didn't call to ask you at that time. Lin Feng thought so, picked up Cao Shuiying and put it on him, and started exercising again. After a while, the taste of autumn is stronger, the autumn in Beijing is windy, and the autumn in Beijing is cool. Both Beijing Normal University and Beijing University of Information Technology have opened. The beautiful landlord's sister Shang Yuna and the graduate sister Sun Yueling have all started to go to work. At the same time, the beautiful neighbor Cao Shuiying has also started class. So far, among the women that Lin Feng has known in Beijing, Shang Yuna is his favorite, but Lin Feng knows that the best beauty Shang Yuna has always wanted to find a rich local in Beijing. The days when a famous car lived in a mansion, so he was not Shang Yuna's dish at all. If Lin Feng said to Shang Yuna, "Don't look at me as poor now, in fact, I am a potential stock, and I will be rich in the future," maybe Shang Yuna would encourage him a few words, but after the encouragement, ridicule and contempt. A girl as smart as Shang Yuna would definitely not believe a man's empty promise. Only a woman with a hot head would believe that a poor boy will suddenly become a rich man. There are many poor boys with ideals, but only 1% of poor boys can realize their ideals. Since the graduate student's sister Sun Yueling lent Wang Wei 50,000 yuan, she came to Lin Feng less frequently. Maybe it was because she was afraid that Lin Feng would misunderstand that she was here to collect debts. Although Sun Yueling maintained an unclear relationship with him, in fact she is a thin-skinned woman. Although she has had a good time many times, she still blushes when she hears people around her talking about that kind of thing, as if she has never done it before and will never do it again. But the night before the school started, Sun Yueling went to Lin Feng's room and offered to ask Lin Feng to put her laptop aside first, and ask Lin Feng to put her on the computer table once. Lin Feng thought it was very fun. He put the laptop on the bed, then stripped off Sun Yueling's clothes, and put her on the computer table. He stood on the ground and pressed against Sun Yueling, very cool. After doing it, Lin Feng said, "Sister Yueling, don't worry, my female classmate Wang Wei will definitely pay you back." Sun Yueling said, "It doesn't matter, I'm not worried, I know she will pay me back, and I still have the basic vision of seeing people." Later, Sun Yueling asked again, "Have you ever dated Wang Wei?" Lin Feng said that he had never been there. Sun Yueling said, "Wang Wei is so beautiful and has such a good figure, you have been dating her for a few years, and you don't want to date her at all." Lin Feng thought about it for a while and felt that it was okay to tell Sun Yueling, so he said, "I have wanted to go to her since I was in college, but until now, I have never gone to her." The beautiful neighbor Cao Shuiying goes to Beijing University of Information Technology every day for classes, but she has not moved back to the dormitory until now. Maybe her relationship with her roommate is too tense and she doesn't want to go back. Cao Shuiying is a girl with strong desires. She even wants to sleep with Lin Feng every night. Sometimes when Lin Feng wants to write something, she will warn her not to come tonight. Cao Shuiying would say, "You kid, you won't let me come tonight. I'll have my period tomorrow. If you want me to come, I won't come." Lin Feng said, "I don't have any problem with you even having your period every December in the year." Cao Shuiying said, "You son of a bitch, if you mess with me, I'll be bored." Lin Feng didn't answer. He suppressed her and pressed her body hard, making her rippling. It has been a month since Wang Wei borrowed the money. Wang Wei is very trustworthy and credited 5,000 yuan to Sun Yueling's account. Sun Yueling breathed a sigh of relief when she saw the money Wang Wei sent her. Although the loan was 50,000 yuan, she had already returned 5,000 yuan, and there was still 45,000 yuan floating outside. If Lin Feng wants to wait until Wang Wei repays the money, it will be 10 months later. He has already promised Wang Wei that he will not have to repay Sun Yueling's money until he has paid off the money. Lin Feng took another month's manuscript fee. This month, after tax, he took more than 6,000 yuan. Lin Feng put 4,000 yuan on the deposit card, and his deposit went from less than 2,000 yuan to 5,000 yuan. Multiple blocks. The book that Lin Feng is publishing now works well, and the editor has affirmed it several times. Although he has not asked explicitly, it can be inferred from the data that he will be offered a manuscript fee within a month. As for how much, it is not clear. At least thousands of characters are increased by 5 yuan, reaching 30 yuan per 1,000 words. It was almost time for dinner. Lin Feng was just about to go out for dinner when Sun Yueling came. Lin Feng felt that Sun Yueling's temperament today was very different from before, both happy and sad. "Sister Yueling, you are here." "Yes, I came to see you this time, not because of that, but to tell you something," Sun Yueling said, and took out the marriage certificate from her bag. "Congratulations." Lin Feng was very happy for Sun Yueling. She finally got a license with a man. Lin Feng opened the marriage certificate and took a look. "Your husband is very handsome and looks very gentle. Is he your colleague?" "It's my colleague. He got divorced once 2 years ago. His ex-wife went abroad and married an Englishman. Some time ago, Yun Na matched the two of us, and that's it." This time, it was actually the bridge built by Shang Yuna, the sister of the beautiful landlord. It seems that Shang Yuna is really Sun Yueling. At this time, Lin Feng also thought that if there was no Shang Yuna, there would be no ambiguity between him and Sun Yueling some time ago. He didn't know whether to thank Shang Yuna or complain about her. Shang Yuna is his favorite. He even wants to pursue Shang Yuna, but he also knows that even if he goes after her, the drama is not big, and he can't easily attack Shang Yuna, otherwise not even friends can do it. No longer lost in the brewing, it will explode in the brewing. Brewing may mean missing out, so it is better to take 2 bites in a hurry, but Lin Feng still intends to brew for a while. "Congratulations, Sister Yueling, you finally have a home, and we won't be with that in the future." "Of course, I already have a husband. You kid thought I would do it with you again. I won't give it to you again in the future, but I will still treat you as a good friend. Thank you for your blessing. Well, I don't know when you will have your wedding. I don't think you will invite me to your wedding. Even if you invite me, I'm embarrassed to go, but the red envelope is indispensable. I don't have one in my hand. The small paper bag of the red envelope, I will give you the money directly, and I will give you a gift of 800 yuan. I wish you and your husband a good relationship for 100 years, and love until old age." Lin Feng ordered 800 yuan from the drawer and handed it to Sun Yueling, but she didn't take it. "Lin Feng, if you have this kind of heart, my sister is very grateful to you. It's not easy for you to make money, So you don't have to give me a gift, right? If it's a gift for other friends or classmates, I'll give you a gift of 200 yuan at most, but you are different. I'll give you a gift of 800 yuan. If you don't, I'll feel very bad. Thank you, Lin Feng. Sun Yueling put away the 800 yuan gift that Lin Feng gave her, hugged Lin Feng, kissed his face, and said with a weeping voice, I'm gone, I'm afraid I won't be able to give you delicious food often in the future. Don't come here. Lin Feng didn't send Sun Yueling off, and watched her lie down on the bed after walking out of the partition room. Lin Feng covered his head with the quilt. After a long time, he stuck his head out, smiled softly, and went out to eat. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 33. Lin Feng had dinner alone and started to walk along the nearby road. He smoked a cigarette and reminisced about the things between him and Sun Yueling. He has no love for Sun Yueling at all, not even a liking. If he doesn't talk about liking, he can only say that he likes doing that thing with Sun Yueling. Although Sun Yueling is a woman with a very ordinary appearance and an outstanding figure, but it's cool to do that with her. Lin Feng has been happy many times through Sun Yueling's body. When he is happy, Sun Yueling will also be happy, even better than him. Now that Sun Yueling has a marriage certificate with a man who has been divorced once, she will not try to find someone better than her. A few years younger men get married to experience the feeling of being both a wife and a sister. Lin Feng has no reason not to wish Sun Yueling happiness. For a woman as kind as Sun Yueling, she should be very happy. At this moment, his cell phone rang, and it turned out that Shang Yuna, the sister of the beautiful landlord, called him. In Lin Feng's mind, the wonderful appearance of Shang Yuna immediately appeared in her mind, with her beautiful face, twinkling eyes, plump breasts, and slender legs. She was slender and plump, elegant, and hot. Sister Yuna, it's you, why did you remember to call me? Lin Feng thought, maybe you wanted to boast in front of me. I want to see you, there is no reason. Where did you go? Why are you not at home? I'm not necessarily at home all the time, it's okay for me to go out for a walk, Lin Feng said. It's quite temperamental, I didn't offend you, come back soon, I really want to chat with you. Lin Feng thought to himself, your sister is special, but you are the sister of the beautiful landlord, there is no sister under you, there is only a piece of wetness. When Lin Feng came back, he saw Shang Yuna was wandering in the corridor with a small bag on her shoulders. Lin Feng snorted and said with a smile, Sister Yuna, you have Louis Vuitton on your shoulders. That's something rich women enjoy, and I have it too. Shang Yuna looked very proud, as if she had become a billionaire woman overnight. God took pity on her and gave her a lot of gold bars, but when she walked into Lin Feng's partition room, she quickly changed her tune and whispered. Said, you can't tell the truth, but let me tell you, my bag is imitation. The workmanship is very good, and you look very noble. It is estimated that people who see your bag will not think it is fake. Although Shang Yuna's family background is very ordinary, she does have the temperament of a rich lady when she walks on the road. That nobility can cause confusion to those who don't know her and will associate her with her identity. Do you know how much this bag really costs? Do not know. Speaking it out will scare you to death, it's more than 80,000. When Lin Feng heard that it was more than 80,000 yuan, he was not too afraid, because he knew that there are many super expensive Louis Vuitton bags, more than 100,000 yuan or even more than 200,000 yuan. There are some particularly sought after new styles, even if you wave more than 100,000 bills to line up, you may not be able to grab them. After all, there are too many women who like these. What Lin Feng thought at this time was that his female classmate Wang Wei had borrowed a loan shark of 80,000 yuan from He Zingkui, the head of the department, which happened to be the price of a Louis Vuitton bag. In the eyes of ordinary office workers, 80,000 yuan might be a year's salary, but in the eyes of the rich, 80,000 yuan is a bag. Lin Feng is not a person who hates the rich. It is someone else's ability to have money. He will also want to be a rich person in the future. After he is rich, he will also enjoy life. Maybe at that time he will be very extravagant. He will wear high-end clothes and high-end leather shoes every day. He will smoke 100 yuan cigarette every day. The good cigarettes will not be given to him by Bai Shan, but bought by him. Lin Feng also wants to buy a luxury car. He is very fond of Volvo. He wants to own a Volvo off-road vehicle. But he must be an environmentalist. Although he is a taxpayer, he smokes every day, causing a certain degree of pollution to the vast universe. He is already a little sorry for nature. At that time, he and the beauties used it when they were hot. The tissue must be thrown into the waste bucket. If the waste bucket is far away from where he and the beauties are hot, he will drive after the waste bucket, but that will mean burning more oil and a waste of non-renewable resources. He suddenly realized that whether he was poor or rich, every day was wasting, but he had to live. He wanted to live to be in his 100s and 20s, and it was best to wait until he was in his 90s to do that with a woman. Can last for more than half an hour, no matter whether the woman is happy or not, he must be happy. Lin Feng felt that Sun Yueling should not have told Shang Yuna about the loan of 50,000 yuan to Wang Wei, otherwise Shang Yuna would have asked him to ask him for guilt. Yes, because he made Sun Yueling comfortable, and Sun Yueling was very grateful to him. Until now, Lin Feng has never cheated anyone. He will not cheat his friends, not even strangers. When I went to a restaurant for dinner in college, I forgot to give the money. The boss and the waiter were busy taking care of the business and didn't ask him for it, but he turned around and sent it back. The money was not much, only more than 20 yuan. The waiters were all surprised. The boss even said, "You are a good person. I don't want the money. In the future, if you bring friends to dinner, I will give you a discount." Lin Feng said, "I'm here to give you money. If you don't want it, then I'm here for nothing. You have to." The boss said, "I don't want it anymore, so don't force it." Lin Feng said, "I must give it to you, because the money is yours." The boss finally accepted the more than 20 yuan, looked at him with admiration for a long time, and then gave him a hibiscus king. Taking 10,000 steps back, she said that even if Wang Wei finally had the heart to deceive people, Lin Feng would pay back Sun Yueling's money in her life and death, and Sun Yueling must not suffer a single penny loss. If this is the case, Lin Feng will no longer treat Wang Wei as a friend, and treat each other as not college classmates, and treat each other as never knowing each other. What are you thinking, kid? I didn't think about anything, I just thought that the man Sun Yueling was looking for would be good to her in the future. I helped her find that, but I helped her find it with a lantern. Although that man has been divorced once, he is very nice and likes family life. He will definitely treat Yueling better than you." Shang Yun sat proudly in the chair, her slender legs swaying constantly. "As far as my previous relationship with Sister Yueling is concerned, I have been good enough to her, and she is also very good to me." "When you say that you are good to her, you have given her many pleasures." "I can only give her pleasure," Lin Feng said. Shang Yuna grabbed her imitation Louis Vuitton bag and hit Lin Feng. "What you said just now was very evil, but yes, Yueling was not alone when she was with you some time ago. Because of meeting you, Yueling will accept the man who has been married once. Perhaps I really had a positive effect, making her feel that, at her current age, it would be unreliable to find a man a few years younger than her to marry, so she expanded the scope and accepted the one you introduced, Yun's sister Na, give me an award." Shang Yuna was immediately stunned. She looked at Lin Feng suspiciously. "You're shameless kid. You've cheated on Yueling so many times, and you want me to give you an award. What award?" The Selfless Dedication Award, I have sent Yueling into the palace of marriage with repeated orgasms. It is very selfless. If I give you this award, what's the award speech? The award speech might as well be like this: Lin Feng, an ordinary man, but he used his thing to brighten up a lonely woman and make this lonely woman no longer lonely in the days before marriage. Thank you. Listening to Lin Feng's award speech, Shang Yuna's nosebleed almost came out. She was obviously provoked and extremely angry. She got up and kicked Lin Feng with her leg. Lin Feng didn't dodge. Shang Yuna's slender legs lifted up and kicked him his ass. Lin Feng's body was well balanced, but he still stumbled in cooperation. Seeing Shang Yuna's fist hitting him again, Lin Feng squeezed her wrist and said with a smile, "I'm just joking, don't be angry. Let go of me." Lin Feng let go of her. "Remember, in the future, don't do anything to me easily, otherwise it's easy for me to eat tofu." "Sister Yuna, I can see that you are a very enthusiastic person. Very good." Enthusiasm? It also depends on who you are. Of course you have to be enthusiastic about my friends, not to mention that Yueling is my good sisters, but she may not be very enthusiastic about others. "Sister Yuna, when will you get married?" Shang Yuna was confused. Every time someone asked her this question, she would fantasize. At this time, she fantasized in Lin Feng's partition room. "When my Prince Charming appears, I should get married. He must be tall, handsome, rich, talented, and temperamental. He lives in a villa and drives a million-plus car." It seems that Shang Yuna's dream marriage partner has always been the rich and handsome, and it has never changed. "You are very beautiful, maybe you can really catch a golden tortoise in law." "I think so too." Shang Yuna thought to herself, "Anyway, a man like you is definitely not my type. Even if I look for it, I have to find someone who is actually very rich." The so-called potential stocks can easily turn into bubbles, and everyone will brag, saying what will happen to him in the future? Maybe the future will be like a bird now. People will stop fantasizing after the age of 50. A young man can fantasize for many years. "Sister Yuna, I beg you. Looking at your wicked smile, it's definitely not a good thing. Hurry up and say it. If you find a husband who drives a luxury car in the future, if you see me on the road without an umbrella on a rainy day, remember to take me with you." "Okay, no problem." Shang Yuna looked very excited. "I still have this kind of sympathy. But at that time, if I have already driven millions of luxury cars, maybe your husband's broken car will not be in my sight. Don't look at me being poor now. In fact, I will be cool and drive. I'll do the same thing when a luxury car presses the window of the car and whistles at a beautiful woman," Lin Feng said with a smile. Shang Yuna looked at Lin Feng's keyboard, and after a while she pouted. "This kind of mechanical keyboard is very durable, but I don't think you can drive a luxury car even if you knock 10 such keyboards. You're in your 50s too." Shang Yuna was equivalent to killing Lin Feng with a stick. Lin Feng was very depressed after a while. He regained his energy. "Let me show you something. You don't want to take off your pants at me, you dare. That thing of mine won't be easy for you to see. I'm afraid you won't be able to sleep." Lin Feng asked Shang Yuna to read the rich list of online writers. Shang Yuna didn't pay much attention to this. Naturally, she had never seen it before. After reading it, she was surprised. "I'll go. Is this data true?" "Absolutely true. Some people in your ranks can earn more than 20 million a year. Of course, the readership of online novels is huge now, and now that smartphones have come out, the mobile phone users are even more aggressive. If you write famous books, you will make money like running water, rushing, pissing. It's not about urinating, it's about making money." "Sister Yuna, you are a beautiful woman, please, don't be so vulgar, okay? When I see you, can I be elegant? What are you doing, besides dreaming every day? What else do you do?" "Forget it, I won't tell you, I won't talk too much, I told you a lot just now, you have nothing else to do, hurry up. Lin Feng was a little upset. Do you know who owns this house? You are just a tenant. You want to drive me, the second landlord, away. I never thought you were my second landlord. I only have one landlord, and that is your sister Shang Yunjuan. How can I say that, although you are not my second landlord, you are very second? Lin Feng actually said that she was very second. She used to be the school flower of Beijing Normal University, but now she is the most beautiful female teacher in the school. In the eyes of all male teachers and male students, she is a noble and beautiful flower, but Lin Feng said she is very second. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 34. Shang Yuna cried aggrievedly. Instead of continuing to attack Lin Feng, she ran away in tears. Although she was very sad, her back was still beautiful, and her round buttocks twisted very quickly, which made Lin Feng feel anxious. I'm afraid there will be trouble. Shang Yuna has been wronged, and she will definitely tell Shang Yunjuan when she returns. I am afraid that the beautiful landlord will soon come over and ask her guilt. Shang Yunjuan doesn't feel bad for her sister, Shang Yuna. She wants Shang Yuna to find a rich and powerful person, so that her future life will be more secure. Shang Yunjuan and sister Shang Yuna lived together in the two-bedroom apartment. Seeing Shang Yuna crying so sadly, Shang Yunjuan wondered, what happened to you? Who bullied you? Tell my sister. Lin Feng. It turned out to be Lin Feng, and Shang Yunjuan was even more puzzled. He played a hooligan to you? Did he touch you? No, he scolded me, he hurt my self-esteem, he is so hateful, you drive him away. Shang Yuna said all of Lin Feng's sharp words, and Shang Yunjuan was also annoyed. This Lin Feng is just a small writer, and he's quite arrogant. Even if some online writers make a lot of money, it doesn't matter to him. He actually said that you are a second person. I don't want to settle accounts with him. Sister, drive him away, what kind of thing is he? Yuna, don't be so extreme. If you don't have to drive him away, just teach him a lesson. Don't forget, he helped you before. You also said at the time that he was fierce and brave. Shang Yuna immediately thought of Lin Feng's help on the overpass to help her take the phone from the thief, and sighed, my good sister, even if he helped me once, we can't be grateful to him for the rest of our lives, it wasn't that time. Have you invited him to drink good wine? The only bottle of good wine at home, Dream Blue, let him drink it, so what else? Even if he is fierce and brave, even if he dares to do things that others dare not do, then it has nothing to do with us. Let's put this aside, Lin Feng is also a very good person, quite self-motivated, so I can't drive him away. Sister, do you feel that way about Lin Feng? Do you think that Lin Feng will make you very comfortable, so hurry up and find him to sleep? Snapped. Shang Yunjuan's slap landed on Shang Yuna's back, and it didn't take much effort to make a clear sound. Shang Yuna didn't feel much pain, but she still cried aggrievedly. Shang Yunjuan wanted to slap Shang Yuna's face even more just now, but she couldn't bear it. If she really slapped Shang Yuna's face, it would hurt more than her own face. Yuna, how can you say that, elder sister? Hearing her sister's voice seemed very sad, Shang Yuna immediately looked at her and found tears in her eyes, and quickly said, Sister, I was wrong, don't cry, don't drive away Lin Feng, but you must teach him a lesson for me. It's not too bad. I'll go to him to settle the account. Shang Yunjuan walked out, and soon drove to the community where Lin Feng was. Hearing the knock on the door, Lin Feng knew it was the beautiful landlord. He opened the door and saw Shang Yunjuan in tight pants. A charming face, a towering chest, a flat belly, slender legs, and the smell of rose perfume all over her body. Even if Shang Yunjuan wears loose clothes, her tall and round buttocks are prominent, and when she wears tights, Her plump lines are even more popular. Shang Yunjuan walked in and closed the door. She didn't say anything malicious. She sat on a chair and looked at Lin Feng's computer for a while before looking at Lin Feng's face. You kid has made my sister mad, she crying for me to drive you away. Anyway, this month is almost here. If you don't want me to continue living, then I'll look for a house. Have you decided to move out, kid? Do you think my house is too expensive? You can ask around if my rent is fair. Sister Shang, you misunderstood. I've already decided to move out. In fact, it's very troublesome to find a house and then move. I also want to continue living, but isn't Yuna angry? Didn't she want me to live there? She is her, I am me, she is angry, but I am not angry. In fact, Yuna is not so angry later. Don't let me drive you away, but let me fix you. Shang Yunjuan. A faint smile appeared on Feng Yun's face. Very hot woman. It was like a peach. Lin Feng wanted to take a bite of this peach, but he couldn't take it lightly. Sister Shang, how do you want to fix me? It's okay to kick you. Okay, but you can only kick ass, not anywhere else. Lin Feng regarded it as a flirtatious game with the beautiful landlord. If she insisted on not letting her kick, she would not be able to step down and continue to make trouble. It didn't do him any good. Shang Yunjuan's legs wrapped in tight pants lifted up, and her legs suddenly became hotter. She kicked Lin Feng's buttocks, and then kicked her again. Lin Feng grabbed her leg and said with a smile, Sister Shang, I just agreed to kick her. But I still want to kick. No. Then let go of my leg. I let go of you, you have to keep kicking me. Stop kicking, Shang Yunjuan said. Only then did Lin Feng let go of her legs. Unexpectedly, Shang Yunjuan rushed towards him, and two pink fists thumped his body. Lin Feng didn't want to continue to let the beautiful landlord beat him, so he stretched out his arms and put his arms around her body. The heat and aroma surrounded Lin Feng, and Lin Feng felt the tenderness of the beautiful landlord's chest. Shang Yunjuan didn't push Lin Feng away immediately, but gasped instead. This hugging posture lasted for almost 2 minutes before Shang Yunjuan pushed Lin Feng away and whispered, I wanted to fix you, but I didn't expect to let it go. You ate tofu. Lin Feng didn't say anything, because he didn't know what to say to the beautiful landlord at this time. He should have eaten tofu just now. And after letting him eat tofu, the beautiful landlord was not very angry, but a little excited. Shang Yunjuan has been divorced for a long time. A plump and charming woman like her usually has a strong desire. She must have long wanted a man. Maybe Shang Yunjuan really wanted to do something with him. He didn't have much money, but he was tall and strong. Lin Feng sat on the chair and lit a cigarette. Shang Yunjuan sat next to him and took out a cigarette from the cigarette case. Lin Feng wanted to smoke the panda that Bai Shan gave him to the beautiful landlord. Smoke, but after thinking about it, don't worry, lest the beautiful landlord ask, he is not easy to answer. It's not bad to smoke purple clouds. Lin Feng and the beautiful landlord smoked clouds together. Lin Feng found that Shang Yunjuan's face was more charming, and that smell could easily evoke the most primitive impulses of men. The beautiful landlord is obviously a mature and intellectual woman, and this kind of woman can easily make men extremely happy. Shang Yunjuan found another topic and chatted for a while, and then leaned on Lin Feng's body and smiled charmingly, you know what? I have always been a very lonely woman. Since that failed marriage, I have never asked other men. I know, you've always been lonely, and you don't like to mess around, but what if you're impulsive? I used to think about buying equipment, but I was always afraid that those who delivered the goods would look at me with strange eyes, so I never bought it. Later, I used my own hands, and also. What else have you used? Don't force your kid's curiosity so hard. I know if you don't tell me, Lin Feng whispered. Shang Yunjuan's face immediately turned red, she punched Lin Feng with 2 punches, and said angrily, "You are so bad, I'm leaving." Shang Yunjuan left. When she walked out of the partition room, she also realized that the time she spent in Lin Feng's place was a little long, and I hoped that she was not discovered by other people in the partition room. When her desire was burning, Shang Yunjuan even felt that her body would disappear in the urge of loneliness. When Shang Yunjuan came home, Shang Yuna was still sitting on the sofa, and when she saw her, she soon showed an ambiguous smile. "Sister, your face is very red, did you repair Lin Feng, or did Lin Feng repair you? You stinky girl, if you make fun of your sister again, I'll be angry." "Okay, hurry up and stop doing this, your face is all red like that, did Lin Feng do something to you? You really want to know?" "Huh? He me," Shang Yunjuan said. Shang Yuna was immediately stunned. Lin Feng was such a cowardly boy that he even gave all the beautiful landlords in the partition room. "Sister, wouldn't it be true? Look at you, of course it's fake, how could I let him go easily, your sister," Shang Yunjuan said. "Sister, although that kid Lin Feng is very ordinary, his stuff is very big. Yueling has complimented Lin Feng many times to me, saying that his stuff is very big and it is very comfortable to make. Try it, otherwise you will. I really want to die proudly in loneliness. Loneliness makes one grow old. Especially for women, if there is no man for a long time, endocrine problems will occur, and physical health will also have serious problems." For so many years, Shang Yunjuan has had enough of loneliness. She wants a man so much, what she needs is the kind of man who can satisfy each other. But I'm afraid, if I make such a request to Lin Feng, he will refuse me. If I let him say no, I will lose all face, and I won't have the face to see him in the future. It's better than this, you ask him, if he wants, let him continue to live, if not, let him move. That's not good." "What's wrong?" Shang Yuna said tenderly. "This issue is very special and must be seriously considered." Shang Yunjuan went back to her room first, took off her tights, put on her nightgown, and lay down on the bed to think seriously. She didn't want to force Lin Feng away because of this problem, otherwise her heart would be very uncomfortable, but she really wanted to do something with Lin Feng. Now, what I need to figure out is, what method is used to make such a request, and it is easier for Lin Feng to agree. Shang Yunjuan became impulsive while thinking, and she reached into her and started fiddling. Lin Feng also made the beautiful landlord excited lying on the bed, her mind was full of Shang Yunjuan's charm. He hugged Shang Yunjuan, Shang Yunjuan's towering chest touched him, and the smell of a mature woman surrounded him. Hearing the knock on the door, Lin Feng knew that it was the beautiful neighbor who came. He opened the door, and Cao Shuiying, who was wearing a night dress, ran into her room like a thief. "I wanted to come half an hour ago, but there are always people in the corridor, which is really annoying and affects the quality of my nightlife." Cao Shuiying quickly lay down on Lin Feng's bed, her slender legs swaying in her nightgown. At this time, Cao Shuiying's roommate did not know that she was falling outside. She had already climbed onto a man's bed. This is her privacy. After she is comfortable, she will not tell others easily. When you are frank with others, but others look at you with different eyes, it is you who are hurt. A person who knows 1,000 tricks can win money if he doesn't play tricks or perform for the people around him, but when he plays tricks, he won't be called by others. When he plays cards, even if he doesn't want to win money, just want to have fun, no one wants to play with him. You think you're funny, but others think you're stinky. A lot of troubles are caused by herself. Cao Shuiying doesn't like to cause trouble for herself, but she has also caused herself a lot of trouble in her life. Lin Feng found that the beautiful neighbor was only wearing panties, not even a chest photo. Lin Feng tore off her while kissing her chest, lifted one of her legs, and rushed into her body sideways. Lin Feng kept working hard. After the enthusiasm, Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying hugged and fell asleep. Lin Feng's head kept staring at Cao Shuiying's chest. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 35. Another time has passed. The autumn wind blows on people's faces, it is very cold and sharp, and the leaves are flying. Some women walking on the road have changed into autumn clothes, and some are wearing short skirts and stockings. The slender legs are swaggering, some are charming, some are reserved, some are windy, and some are pure. Different women have different moods and tastes. Some men like old women, but they cannot be old enough to be in their 70s or 80s. Old women in their 30s and 40s are very charming and the wind is burning. It's funny, so some men like them, some men like younger women, and if it's an old man, it's more like younger women, they're old, and they know best what it's like to be old. Lin Feng is very comfortable, not only because he wears the casual suit that Sun Yueling bought him for more than 2,000 yuan, but also because of the increase in his royalties. From middle school to the present, for many years, Lin Feng seems to have never cared about what to wear. The main reason is that good clothes are more expensive. In middle school, Lin Feng envied people who wore military and police shoes. Those shoes were all padded with steel plates, and kicking people was very painful. Lin Feng had never worn military and police shoes, but he also had a lot of pain in kicking because he knew Kung Fu. In college days, Lin Feng's clothes were still very ordinary, but he no longer easily envied others. Even if someone wearing tens of thousands of high-end clothes passed by him, he would not feel much. At that time, his ex-girlfriend Shen Bingqian was very concerned about what he was wearing. If he dressed well, he would be very face-to-face when they walked together. At that time, Shen Bingqian said, "Lin Feng, you should go to the retail market, where you can find famous brands at very cheap prices." Lin Feng said, "Where is the tailgate market?" Shen Bingqian said, "There are several, or I'll go back with you." Lin Feng said, "Okay, let's check it out another day." Just 2 months before Lin Feng and Shen Bingqian broke up, they went to the retail market together and spent more than 800 yuan, of which more than 300 were paid by Shen Bingqian. Wearing a casual suit given to him by Sun Yueling, Lin Feng thought of the scene when he and Shen Bingqian went to the goods market. At that time, in order to achieve value for money, they strolled for several hours, and didn't come out until dinner time. After having dinner at a restaurant near the market, the neon lights flashed, making Lin Feng's heart fascinated. There were 2 express hotels nearby. Lin Feng proposed to open a room, which made Shen Bingqian despise. At that time, Lin Feng was very depressed, because many men and women who were in love did that. Not only did they do it, but they might have a miscarriage, but Shen Bingqian didn't want to do it with him. Lin Feng said, "I will wear a condom." Shen Bingqian said, "No." Lin Feng said, "I bring 2 sets." Shen Bingqian said, "Go ahead and do it." When Lin Feng thought about the price increase of his royalties, his heart jumped up. The familiar scenes in his eyes seemed to be significantly different from before. "I remember that the lights in this store were not so bright before, but now they are very bright. From 25 to 30 of 1,000 words, although only 5 yuan is mentioned for 1,000 words, it will be more than 1,000 yuan in a month. As long as Lin Feng is not too lazy, he can earn more than 7,000 yuan a month, and save 5 yuan. 1,000 bucks is fine." Such good news must be known to his parents. He called his home and chatted with his parents for more than half an hour. His parents are very happy for him, but they are also very sorry for his university majors. Could it be that he really won't be able to use those majors in the future? For Lin Feng, university is just a special experience in his life. It does not depend on whether he has won a scholarship, whether he has failed a course, or even what major he is studying. Lin Feng got another manuscript fee and saved 5,000 yuan, and the remaining 2,000 yuan is living expenses. Since he lent Wang Wei 30,000 yuan, Lin Feng has deposited money twice, and now his deposit has exceeded 10,000 yuan. Although it was very little, it was a 5-digit deposit after all, and he felt a little sense of accomplishment in his heart. Wang Wei once again charged 5,000 yuan to the account provided by Sun Yueling. As a result, Wang Wei repaid Sun Yueling 10,000 yuan, leaving 40,000 yuan. With these two repayments on time, Sun Yueling was even more afraid that Wang Wei would meet. It seems that the 50,000 yuan loaned out can be gradually recovered. Sun Yueling held a wedding with the man who had been divorced once. Lin Feng gave the ceremony ahead of time and handed it over to Sun Yueling. He did not attend Sun Yueling's wedding, but later heard Shang Yuna say on the phone that Sun Yueling's wedding it was very grand. Sun Yueling was very happy in her wedding dress. She shed tears, which were tears of happiness and sadness. Now that you are married, it must be done. Lin Feng doesn't know if Sun Yueling also thought of him when he was in the wedding room with her husband, but those are not important anymore. Lin Feng and Sun Yueling will never do that kind of thing again. Lin Feng's principle does not allow it, and Sun Yueling's principle does not allow it either. Lin Feng thought of Bai Shan. He hadn't seen Bai Shan for a long time, and he was even worried about what happened to Bai Shan. Bai Shan is a woman who is a lover to other men. Although she gave him her first daughter and slept with him several times after that, Bai Shan is at most an ordinary friend of his, who has done that kind of thing many times to each other. Ordinary friends. But Lin Feng was just a little worried that something would happen to Bai Shan, probably because Bai Shan was too kind to him in the past. Maybe Bai Shan was very humble, but she was really good to him. She gave him a first daughter, gave him good cigarettes, and gave him delicious food. Lin Feng hopes that Bai Shan will be smoother. When Bai Shan is a lover to men, those men don't keep hitting her. When Bai Shan gets married, the man who married her doesn't know what she did before. The manuscript fee is 5 yuan per 1,000 words, and Lin Feng has more motivation to code words. He believes that there will be many opportunities to increase the price in the future. As long as readers like what he writes, he can become richer and richer. Inspired, he wrote 2 wonderful plots, which I believe will bring wonderful enjoyment to readers. Hearing the knock on the door, Lin Feng stopped temporarily and minimized the document. He didn't want to let unimportant people see his manuscript. Maybe it was the beautiful landlord, maybe Shang Yunjuan, the charming woman, would make a decision that made him happy. When he opened the door, he saw that it was Bai Shan, the woman he was always worried about. Bai Shan has changed. She has become more beautiful and richer than before, wearing a platinum necklace on her neck, a gold bracelet on her arm, wearing designer clothes and a designer bag. Her are still so full, her legs are still so slender, she is like the daughter of a rich family. Lin Feng closed the door and said with a smile, I thought something had happened to you. It seems that you have successfully switched jobs. Yeah, I succeeded in changing jobs. I left dabbing a month ago. Now I am with a big boss, and now the man who covers me is a billionaire. It seems that Bai Shan's job hopping is very successful. Being the lover of a billionaire will surely bring a lot of benefits. Lin Feng originally thought that when Bai Shan changed jobs for the first time, he could only find a man who was slightly stronger than dabbing, a little more handsome than dabbing, and a little richer. What he didn't expect was that Bai Shan was very powerful. The next job hopping turned out to be a billionaire. Maybe this man is not very big, but he is very rich, and money can always bring different types of women a sense of satisfaction. There are no people in this world who don't like money, but liking and valuing it are not the same thing. I like it very much, but maybe not. Bai Shan is clearly a person who values money very much. She can be friends with someone who has no money. But she won't have with someone who has no money. Lin Feng took out the panda cigarette, handed it to Bai Shan, and said with a smile, You bought this for me. Not finished yet. I only smoked less than 3 boxes, Lin Feng said. Bai Shan's eyes were a little wet, and after a while she laughed again. It doesn't matter, you can smoke as much as you want, I'll send you back later. You don't always give me things in the future. Let your current lover know. I'm afraid he will clean up you. He is a billionaire, not a piece of junk like a pie. Lin Feng said, these very rich people are very rich. I like to send people to supervise the people around me, especially my lover. It is best not to let him discover our relationship. Are you afraid I'll cause you trouble, kid? I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm also thinking about you. You finally found a billionaire lover. If you let him find out that you have a relationship with me, you will be sad. I'm fine, even if he really people come to beat me, but they may not be able to beat me. Even if he uses other methods to deal with me, I can hide, but you are different. He will tie you up and torture you frantically. Might put you in the freezer. Hearing Lin Feng say this, Bai Shan laughed. She didn't seem to be nervous at all. Did you read the news on the internet? That's why you said that. Well, I saw the news that a British man killed his lover, cut it into many pieces, put it in the freezer, and said to the freezer, I put you in the freezer, it's frozen you are mine alone. Lin Feng said. He's not that kind of person. He's a gentleman. It seems that we should talk about him. Bai Shan smiled charmingly and began to talk about her current lover. This time it was a man in his 50s, but he usually pays attention to maintenance. He looks like he is only 40 years old. He is tall and handsome. The boss of Jin Hongtu Company is Yeching Chen. Lin Feng knows Hongtu Company. He has passed by that company several times before. It is a company with a good reputation. If undergraduates and graduate students can work in Hongtu Company after graduation, it is already a very golden career. Lin Feng was even more surprised than before, because Yeching Chen was indeed a very good man. He had a good business relationship and was very keen on social welfare undertakings. There were a lot of news about Yeching Chen on the internet, both commercial and public welfare. It's gossip. As for finding a young and beautiful lover, it's not his fault, let alone his fault. It just shows that he loves life and beauties. Some rich people seem to be very gentle, as if such people will never cheat in their whole life, but the more such people are, the more they may like beautiful women, and the more they will use various unexpected ways to deal with beautiful women, they may be in no one's life. When he saw it, he smiled grimly and used various instruments. Yeching Chen gave Bai Shan 30,000 yuan a month, and at the same time allowed her to spend 20,000 yuan a month by credit card. In this way, Bai Shan's treatment was higher than that of Chen Dongliang, who was a little man for Sister Yan. But is Bai Shan more miserable than Chen Dongliang? Is she often whipped, or is she often handcuffed and thrown on the bed? How is Yeching Chen treating you? Very good, he never beat me or scolded me, and he wasn't rude when he got to bed. Although he is already in his 50s, he's okay in that respect. When I make it, I feel a lot more. Dabbing is a very disgusting man. The things are very small. The villa is usually served by a nanny. His wife died and he has a daughter who helps him with his business in Hongtu Company. He has no plans to marry again, only a lover. It is estimated that he is afraid that if he gets married again, he will meet someone who is scheming to divide his property. Lin Feng said with a smile. I think that's what he's worried about, but I never had the heart to marry him, just do my duty and earn the money I deserve. Bai Shan said leisurely. Nevertheless, his daughter is right, I was still very wary. That very beautiful woman didn't live with us. She had a 4-bedroom apartment of her own, where she usually lived and went back to the villa about twice a week. Hearing Bai Shan say that Yeching Chen's daughter is a very beautiful woman, Lin Feng even wanted to ask what her name was and what she looked like. But no matter what the woman's name is or what she looks like, it has nothing to do with him. There is no need to ask anything, just listen to what Bai Shan tells him. Bai Shan snuggled into Lin Feng's arms, and Lin Feng felt a little uneasy. At this time, Bai Shan was no longer the lover of dabbing, but became the lover of a billionaire. If he continued to treat Bai Shan, let Ye Chen know, I guess there will be big trouble. When I was about to separate from dabbing, he got angry and hit me. Did the pie hit you? Yeah, the beating was very hard, it swelled my face, broke my nose, and my stomach and legs were all wounded. I originally wanted to inform you that I wanted you to stand up for me, but then I thought, after thinking about it, let it go, I'm afraid it will cause trouble for you and affect your creation. Let Bai Shan say this, Lin Feng's heart is even more uncomfortable. Lin Feng has no love for Bai Shan, not at all. A woman like Bai Shan is definitely not his thing, and she will never become his girlfriend, let alone his wife. But Lin Feng was still very angry when he heard the pie hit Bai Shan. Do you want me to clean up the pie? Forget it, it's all in the past. I even suspect that dabbing knows about me and you. The reason why he didn't look for you is because he was afraid that you would fix him. Dabbing did know that his supermarket was too close to the community where Lin Feng rented a house, and it was easy to understand something. When he wrapped Bai Shan for the second month, he knew that Bai Shan had that kind of relationship with Lin Feng, but Dabbing also learned that Lin Feng knew Kung Fu. Dabbing is very afraid that Lin Feng will clean up if he fails to clean up. If Lin Feng sets fire to his supermarket, it will be broken. In the past, a friend of Dabbing was beaten and broke his leg. Now he is still lame, but the person who beat him has already run away. A few years have passed, and no one knows where that sturdy and fierce man has gone. Maybe Lin Feng will be more sturdy than that fierce man. Maybe Lin Feng will be angry and will stab him directly with a knife, give him a dozen or so knives, and he will die. Anyway, it's just a lover. I messed with her, and you messed with her. In general, I messed with you more times than you. Dabbing thought about this and it was balanced. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 36. When Bai Shan was about to leave, De Bing beat her not only because she was reluctant to leave, but also because of Lin Feng. De Bing did not dare to trouble Lin Feng easily, so she could only vent her anger on Bai Shan. Although De Pai can play with women very well, in the final analysis he is just a very unprofessional little boss who is very afraid of causing trouble. If he really gets into trouble, with his little network of connections, it will be difficult to settle it down. The housekeeping skills that you can come up with are bankruptcy and disaster relief. After beating Bai Shan, Dabbing was very flustered, and was very afraid that the kid named Lin Feng would come to him with a kitchen knife. If the kitchen knife in Lin Feng's hand slashed his head, he might sew dozens of stitches or even break his face. The kitchen knife in Lin Feng's hand may also cut off his arms and cut off his legs, making him a mutilated person in the future. He hid and stayed at a friend's house for 5 days. Every day, he called to inquire about the situation at the supermarket. There was no movement, so he dared to come back. Maybe Bai Shan didn't tell Lin Feng about the beating at all. Maybe Lin Feng didn't want to trouble him after he found out. He's just a woman. You can play with me too. After he had this idea, Dabbing's heart was much relieved. He was in the mood to look at the beauties on the road again, and he began to think about wet and warm things again. The women he has never had with are very unfamiliar to him, and he really wants to have with a few more. If Lin Feng really went looking for the pie, he wouldn't use a knife at all, and he would hit the pie with just 2 fists. Lin Feng is very confident about this. As long as the venue is big enough, he can hit or run. He can beat the cake. He can easily cripple the flatbread. But Bai Shan didn't bother him at first, but now that he knows it, he doesn't feel in the mood to trouble him again. Lin Feng pushed Bai Shan away and said with a smile, I don't think it's better than this. After you leave this time, don't come to me. You can be Ye Qingchen's lover at ease. It's not a problem to keep switching jobs. It's hard to catch me. A billionaire, it is better to get some more money from him and save it as a dowry for himself. Bai Shan laughed, and at the same time she threw herself into Lin Feng's arms again. Her towel kept touching Lin Feng's body, very soft and elastic, making Lin Feng think of the moment when he got Bai Shan's first daughter again. The moment he rushed in, he was enveloped by an indescribable softness and wetness. Bai Shan screamed. When he started exercising, he felt very comfortable. It was a feeling he had never experienced before. When Lin Feng and Shen Bingqian were in love in college, there were at least 300 times when he wanted to do that with Shen Bingqian, but Shen Bingqian only let him kiss, only let him touch. Lin Feng's hand touched Shen Bingqian's wet place, very ecstasy. Lying on the bed in the dormitory, Lin Feng had imagined many times that Shen Bingqian was so beautiful, with such a good figure, her body was soft and moist, and it would be very enjoyable to be warm. Once Shen Bingqian wore a denim skirt and sat with Lin Feng on the edge of the campus woods. There was no one around. Shen Bingqian fell softly into Lin Feng's arms and said softly, "Husband, kiss me." Lin Feng kissed Shen Bingqian's red lips, and at the same time he reached into her chest photo and touched her heartily. But Lin Feng wasn't satisfied at all. His hand was like a monkey stealing peaches from Shen Bingqian's denim skirt. As soon as he touched the pants, Shen Bingqian screamed. The cry was so loud that it could be heard dozens of meters away. Lin Feng was startled, and his hand ran out immediately. Shen Bingqian wanted to slap him, but Lin Feng grabbed her wrist and said that I will pay attention in the future and don't try to slap me at every turn. Shen Bingqian wanted to slap Lin Feng at least a dozen times, but failed to slap Lin Feng's face once. No matter how fast her hands were, Lin Feng's hands were always faster than hers. Lin Feng couldn't treat her well, wanted to fan him, couldn't buy her high-end cosmetics, wanted to fan him, couldn't often invite her to watch movies, wanted to fan him, and never got any gold ornaments, even those tied with red ropes. I've never gotten that kind of gold-encrusted necklace, so I want to slap him. It can be said that in the less than 2 years that Shen Bingqian was with Lin Feng, she wanted to fan him every day. At that time, Lin Feng thought the love between him and Shen Bingqian was real. Although Shen Bingqian always liked to compare him with other rich men, Lin Feng still felt that the love was real. Shen Bingqian likes to think about herself very much, but she really loved Lin Feng, and had a heart for Lin Feng, and this heartbeat lasted for a long time. As long as there is someone in your heart, you can experience romance. Shen Bingqian did not blindly ask Lin Feng to pay her money, she also spent money for Lin Feng, bought him clothes, bought a belt, bought a keyboard, and also sent a lot of fruit to Lin Feng's dormitory, and once even sent Tang Yuan, and later Lin Feng's 2 roommates argued over whether the food sent by Shen Bingqian was Tang Yuan or Lantern Festival, and finally blushed and almost fought. Before breaking up, Lin Feng still had a wonderful opportunity to touch Shen Bingqian's wetness. At that time, his heartbeat was twice as fast as usual. After breaking up, Lin Feng thought about it seriously. He felt that in less than 2 years with Shen Bingqian, in fact, Shen Bingqian had always been very good to him. The reason why he chose Gaofu Shui was also for the future. It's very different from life on a college campus. Gradually, Lin Feng no longer hated Shen Bingqian, and of course, he didn't love her anymore. In the eyes of many people, Lin Feng is a very ordinary person, but Lin Feng naturally has his strengths. He can afford it, and he is very persistent. Lin Feng understands himself very well, but he rarely explains him to others. What kind of person? Lin Feng, what are you thinking? It seems that I came to look for you this time, which really scared you, Bai Shan said with a relieved smile. Lin Feng didn't want to tell Bai Shan what he thought of just now, because there was no need for it. Maybe Bai Shan and his ex-girlfriend would never meet in their entire lives, maybe the two of them would meet in a high-end shopping mall, and neither of them knew who the other was. Who? Bai Shan, you better go, Don't think I'm afraid, I'm doing it for your own good, Lin Feng said. Not only did Bai Shan not leave, she also pinched Lin Feng's thing hard. Lin Feng was surprised because Bai Shan had used a lot of force just now. Damn it, you are too evil, you want to break it for me. I like that thing of yours very much. I really want to squeeze it down and put it in your satchel, and take it out when I want to use it. Although that thing of mine is very fierce, it is not easy to keep fresh, and it will break down soon after leaving my body, Lin Feng said. Bai Shan chuckled, hurry up, don't waste time, come here soon. After you're done, hurry up and leave. Well, I'll leave when I'm done. Will you come later? I don't know. Bai Shan thought about it for a long time before coming to Lin Feng. She felt like she shouldn't come, but she really couldn't think of it. Lin Feng tore off Bai Shan's clothes and wanted to throw them on the chair, but they all fell to the ground. Lin Feng kissed Bai Shan's chest, tore off her panties, and slammed into her body. Bai Shan experienced a very familiar fulfillment, and her cry was very happy. After dozens of minutes of enthusiasm, and after changing several poses in a row, Bai Shan experienced 3 pleasures. Bai Shan got dressed, but she didn't seem to want to leave soon. She opened her shoulder bag, took out a red box, and put it on the computer desk. It's for you. What? You can see it when you open it. Bai Shan smiled charmingly. Lin Feng opened the red box and was shocked. This gold necklace was too thick. It was estimated that it weighed more than 60 grams. According to the current price of gold, it would cost more than 20,000 yuan to buy this necklace from a gold store. It's too precious, I can't have it. Look at you, you're too timid. You didn't steal the gift I gave you, so why can't you ask for it? This has nothing to do with courage. If you give me a few good cigarettes, I will definitely want it, but you give me this kind of thing, and you give me money for the same reason. It's like a billionaire packaged you, and then you wrap me up. The relationship is very chaotic. Lin Feng explained for a long time. Bai Shan finally understood what kind of state of mind Lin Feng was in, and said helplessly, it seems that this gold necklace will hurt your self-esteem, then I won't give it to you. Oh, yes, you can buy it online. Smoke. The cigarettes in the regular channels are all tobacco monopoly, only sold in the store, not online, Lin Feng said. The cigarettes on the internet are all fake. It's almost like this, Lin Feng said. Then I can only buy cigarettes for you next time. Maybe I can bring cigarettes to you from Yakingchen's villa. He smokes too. He smokes a pack of cigarettes for hundreds of yuan every day. Yellow Crane Tower 1916, Cordyceps sinensis. Bai Shan was a little excited, but Lin Feng was very depressed. It seemed that Bai Shan would appear in his partition room in the future. Bai Shan left, but Lin Feng's heart couldn't calm down for a long time. He thought of the scene where he was stroking Bai Shan's buttocks while pushing her, and also thought of the precious gold necklace. Lin Feng felt that even if he became rich in the future, he would not wear such a thick gold chain, which would be a burden on his neck. Maybe he would like diamonds in the future, but it must be the diamonds he earned. At night, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. He stopped typing for a while and glanced at the cell phone. It was from Shang Yunjuan, the beautiful landlord. Lin Feng immediately thought of the charming woman who was very attractive, and he picked it up. Sister Shang, are you looking for me? Do you remember my address? Remember, what happened to you? I've encountered something and I want you to do me a favor. Come to me. Shang Yunjuan's tone was urgent. Maybe something happened. The beautiful landlord is busy. If he can help, he still has to help. Whether he wants to help someone or not depends on whether he has the desire to help. At this time, Lin Feng has this desire. Today, I have written enough 8,000 words anyway. Lin Feng's heart is not so empty anymore. He took a black car and arrived at the community where the beautiful landlord's house is located. The beautiful landlord, wearing a long sweater, tights, and leather boots, was standing outside the community waiting for him. They looked at each other's faces and smiled. Lin Feng and Shang Yunjuan walked in together. When Lin Feng walked into the house, he realized that Shang Yuna was not there. He asked in confusion, "Where is Sister Yuna? Have you been thinking about my sister all the time? Let me tell you, you have no fun. Where did she go and what's your business?" "Sister Shang, you think too much, I just asked casually, nothing else," Lin Feng said with a smile. "Sit down." Lin Feng sat on the sofa, Shang Yunjuan brought tea over, and her plump body sat beside him. Yun Na went to the disco with some friends. It turned out to be a disco. The disco is very intoxicating, the disco is very lively, and the disco can easily make people wild. The laser light can make people who were originally very honest become dishonest, and make people who were originally very inactive to swing and twist randomly. Very ugly movements will become very blurred under the embellishment of laser lights. It seems that everyone is a master of the dance forest. When the laser lights suddenly turn into pure white light, many people feel embarrassed to twist move because they found their movements really ugly. Shang Yuna's figure is slender and graceful, and she walks beautifully. Maybe she is good at dancing, maybe she is a dancer. When her round buttocks twist her graceful waist, she will become the focus of the audience. Many men will look at her with hot eyes, and many women will look at her with envy. DJ may also make strange noises because of her. 1, 2, 3, let's dance and swing with this beauty. 1, 2, 3, let's bump our butts together, let our heads point together, midnight is coming, it's our moment. Lin Feng went to a disco several times during his college days, and it was always a treat for others. Every time he had a good time, the disco was not as chaotic as people imagined. There will be bloodshed. The disco is very intoxicating, but it is only a business place. Any boss with a little brain will not want to have trouble at his stall. If something happens to an ordinary person at the stall, maybe it can be settled with money. If it is a good background, there is an accident at the stall, and I am afraid that the person who is the boss will not be able to turn over in his life. Lin Feng thought of the laser lights, the surging dance music, the twisting hips, the graceful waist, and the crazy head. Wild and drunk like wine, he twisted his waist hard. The buttocks are in the big snowy mountain, and the buttocks are hard. Since graduating, Lin Feng has never been to a disco again. No one invites him. If he goes, he has to pay for it himself. Even if he is willing to find a cheap disco for a few $100, he is not that addicted to going there alone. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 37. Welcome to vote, welcome to give rewards. If you like this book, please support Lao Su a lot. Sister Shang, what do you want me to do for you? Lin Feng said. You'll find out later. I'm almost dying of anger. I didn't expect there are such people in the world. It seems that someone made Shang Yunjuan depressed, and it was a man who made her depressed. Maybe a man with a perverted plot harassed her and made her feel sick. Lin Feng is not a person who likes to cause trouble. For many years, he has not caused any trouble, and he has never entered a situation, but at this time he is bold. Perhaps it is Shang Yunjuan's charm that makes him so bold, full of Jianghu atmosphere. Sister Shang, who bullied you, who made you unhappy, cut him. Those who know Kung Fu are easy to get violent, but if you provoke me, I'm afraid you can't reach him. If you cut it, it will break my computer. Shang Yunjuan's smile became a little charming. Wherever there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Lin Feng is a very normal man, and he knows Kung Fu, so he can occasionally be in the rivers and lakes. But when he heard Shang Yunjuan's words just now, he felt that he might not be able to get up, because the person who provoked Shang Yunjuan seemed to be a netizen. Netizens can be very divisive, but if you challenge your own netizens, it will be even more divisive. Sister Shang, are you a little too sexy? Why are you angry with netizens? There used to be a female netizen in her 20s, she asked me to call her mother when she went online, and said that my are big enough, so I can be your mother. Looking at my pictures, have you ever imagined what it would be like to eat my milk? Shang Yunjuan's face was a little rosy, and her smile became more charming. Then you didn't ask her over, you really eat her milk. Even if I ask her out, she doesn't have milk. In fact, I really wanted to date her once, but she lives in the outskirts of the country, and taking a taxi to where I live will cost more than 100 yuan each way, so the round trip is 300 yuan. After the kiss, she said that she was tired and asked me to treat her to a good meal to replenish her strength. It is estimated that more than 500 yuan will not come down, but I am not addicted to it. You kid is too good at reckoning. It's not a loss to play with a beauty who is not a lady for 500 yuan. Maybe. Lin Feng sometimes thinks it's not a loss when he thinks about it. Although he paid 500 yuan, he is still a hunter. 500 yuan can buy a lot of small things, but it's hard to buy a venture. Maybe that young female netizen is really beautiful. Her are huge and her body is like a peach. But he finally blocked the female netizen who might be a peach, and was later removed from the blacklist. Lin Feng followed Shang Yunjuan to her bedroom, and immediately smelled a very intoxicating smell, including the smell of perfume and Shang Yunjuan's skin. Women in their 30s have a unique charm. At this time, their skin is still tender and their periods are not over. Their desires are very strong, they are quite intellectual and experienced. Fierce and wild. Lin Feng had never been among Yunjuan before, but he could guess that Shang Yunjuan would be a very fierce and wild woman when she did that. Maybe she will pose unexpectedly and have the urge to apply for a patent, maybe she will make an unexpected sound and have the urge to apply for a patent again. Looking at the quilt on the big soft bed and the messy clothes, Lin Feng fantasized about Shang Yunjuan's charming and hot body. Before, Lin Feng couldn't think of a suitable word to describe Shang Yunjuan's body, but now he thinks of it, it is mellow. Shang Yunjuan is not the kind of woman who is slender and skinny. Her body is very fleshy, her skin is very tender and tight, and she looks graceful and plump. This type of woman is very refreshing to touch, and it will be very powerful to do that, and it is very flavorful to hit it enthusiastically. Shang Yunjuan is also imagining Lin Feng. Lin Feng is tall and straight, Lin Feng is powerful, and Lin Feng can make her feel good without much effort. Shang Yunjuan even thought that if she did that with Lin Feng, she would be happy within a minute. When the thrill hits, she will definitely shout. I don't know if her shouting will scare Lin Feng. If you frighten him, then comfort him, darling, don't be afraid, sister, wait a minute. Look, this damned thing, I deleted him 5 times, but he added me with a new number for the 6th time. Lin Feng saw that this guy's online name was Hunk. Lin Feng smiled and said, it seems that you like chatting with Hunk very much. I'm a lonely, single woman in her 30s. I'm easily emptied. I can't bear to sleep without a guy. Chatting with a guy is a piece of shit. If Shang Yunjuan had never been with a man after that failed marriage, it would not be easy to endure it for so many years. But Lin Feng doesn't know what Shang Yunjuan has done in the past few years. Maybe she has done it with a lot of men, she is just showing off herself. Not only can a watchman build an archway for himself, but a woman who is not a watchman can also build an archway for himself. Magnificent and gorgeous arches are everywhere, some are in people's hearts, some are in the aisles, some are in the living room, and some are in the bedroom. The sister Yan who took care of Chen Dongliang, although she likes to play with little men, she is not a watch, because she is not selling, but she also likes to build a memorial for herself, and speak at different universities as a successful entrepreneur at that time. As long as she was wearing clothes, she was in the archway, because she preferred to go bare butt, not to mention that she also spoke a lot of great truths and said a lot of high-sounding words. Crack. Shang Yunjuan patted Lin Feng's head with her hand, and said angrily, "Look, what did he talk to me about? Why are you always distracted?" Lin Feng touched the place where Shang Yunjuan had hit just now. It didn't hurt, but it was a little hot. At this time, his body was very tall and straight, and he didn't know if Shang Yunjuan had noticed his tall and straight through the shape of his pants. Lin Feng looked at it, and the guy whose online name was Hunk did indeed chat a lot of wet content with Shang Yunjuan. Shang Yunjuan's net name is Lonely Charm, which can easily evoke the wonderful fantasy of men. Seeing her net name, it is easy to think of a graceful woman writhing with her bare buttocks, first standing on the bed and writhing, then he stood on the ground again, hunched over and twisted his buttocks. "Look at this bastard, he has changed his vest and talked to me many times, and he has the audacity to ask why you are called Lonely Charm. You're going too far. If you're annoying, don't explain it to him." "You explained it so clearly," Lin Feng said. Shang Yunjuan explained it like this: "I am a charming woman, I am in my 30s, and I don't have a man, so I am very lonely." But Shang Yunjuan is all pasted chat records, and she doesn't even bother to type. Lin Feng said in his heart, "My beautiful landlord is just like you." The macho said, "Can I call you sister?" Lonely Charm said, "Of course." The macho said, "Sister, I sympathize with you. Although I am several years younger than you, I can really feel your feelings." Lonely Charm said, "Although I haven't seen you, I know that you are a kind person, can you sing?" The macho said, "I don't sing very well, but if you are lonely, I can sing for you." After that, the macho sent a video request, but Lonely Charm refused, and then sent a voice, and the macho accepted. "He heard my voice, it was very sweet and kind, I guess he was licking when he said that. He sang to me while licking, that night, you didn't reject me, that night I hurt you, that night. Why didn't we chat afterwards?" I said, "That night, your sister, you thought you changed your vest, I don't know who you are anymore, little brother, go and masturbate." Shang Yunjuan became elated. Lin Feng almost collapsed, his forehead was indeed sweating, and he frowned. "Sister Shang, it's not that he bullied you, it's you who bullied him, that kid must have ruined you, you can't kiss overnight, I'm afraid I'm going to find Miss. It's none of my business if he hits a telephone pole in a trance, but what I'm worried about is that he'll change his vest and add me. Just don't add it. But I like to chat with netizens. If it's not his vest, isn't it a mistake?" Shang Yunjuan is a QQ member. She has nearly 500 friends on her account, including more than 400 men, ranging from 18 to 60 years old. It seems that you are very good at chatting. When you go online, the hearts of many men will be surging. I don't know how many men want to have a one-night kiss with you. He, maybe that's the case. Look at what this 18-year-old boy talked to me. Lin Feng saw it. This 18-year-old boy begged Shang Yunjuan to do it with him once. "Please, sister, let me do it once, I know what it's like, and I won't always fantasize about forcibly meeting my female classmate." Shang Yunjuan said, "What do you think about seeing your sister? Wash and sleep." The little boy said, "Sister, I massaged 3 more times today, my legs and feet were weak, and my ears were buzzing." Shang Yunjuan said, "Ring your sister, wash and sleep." Lin Feng looked a little distressed. "Sister Shang, you seem to be a little evil. You shouldn't seduce little boys under the age of 20. "I didn't seduce anyone, because I never met these netizens," Shang Yunjuan said. "You didn't take it seriously, but others take it seriously." Lin Feng didn't want to look at it. He glanced at the time and said with a smile, "Sister Shang, I have nothing else to do. If Yun Na comes back and sees me at your house, she will misunderstand. She's staying at a friend's house tonight." "Boyfriend?" "No, what are you thinking, kid?" "Oh, I see it, does your kid like Yun Na?" He did like it a bit, but Lin Feng would not admit it. He felt that the drama between him and Shang Yuna was very small, and he did not intend to pursue her frantically. I simply liked it, and regarded it as the motivation of the code. Lin Feng smiled and said, Sister Shang, why are you so excited? Yun Na's dream lover is Gao Fushui. It's useless for me to like her. You are not allowed to like her, but... But what? You can like me. Shang Yunjuan's face immediately turned red. Lin Feng thought, in fact, I also like you very much, but my liking for you is the liking of desire. You are obviously not suitable to be my girlfriend. Even if you want to, I will not let you be my girlfriend. I'm really on you. Shang Yuna doesn't say anything, but she will definitely have opinions on me in her heart, so my drama will be even smaller. Did I scare you? No, I know, Sister Shang, you are joking with me. I should go back. Don't go. Why? Oh Sister Shang, what's wrong with you? My stomach hurts a bit again. Shang Yunjuan's body began to bend, she squatted on the ground covering her stomach, the corners of her mouth grinned, and tears flowed out. If it's pretending, then it's too similar, it shouldn't be pretending. Lin Feng thought about it and supported Shang Yunjuan's arm. Sister Shang, does it hurt here? Well, you press the button for me. Lin Feng's hand pressed on Shang Yunjuan's belly. Shang Yunjuan seemed to find it unsatisfactory, and quickly grabbed Lin Feng's hand and put it into her gown. Lin Feng's hand touched the delicate skin of Shang Yunjuan's flat abdomen. As long as he moved down a little, he could touch the edge of his pants. Maybe he would put his hand into Shang Yunjuan's pants at this time, and she would not object. When every man has a golden bug, he will be very restless when speaking and doing things at this time. A friend of Lin Feng once said that if you want to be calm when you meet a beautiful woman, the best way is to within half an hour before meeting her. Medicine, standing in front of a beautiful woman will be a gentleman. Touching Shang Yunjuan's flat abdomen, the delicate and warm texture made Lin Feng very impulsive, but his hand quickly moved away. Oh it hurts to death. Sister Shang, I just thought you were really hurting, but now I know, you're playing with me. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 38. Shang Yunjuan was embarrassed, and Lin Feng could see it, so there was no need for her to keep pretending. Although she is hot and humid, Shang Yunjuan is actually a woman who is easily shy. When she was not married, her shyness was pure. When she got married, her shyness was charming. After divorce, her shyness was very helpless. Facing Lin Feng at this time, her shyness was very painful, and she wanted to be with Lin Feng, but it was not so easy to start. It wasn't as easy as she took off Lin Feng and pressed on. She could take off, but Lin Feng would not necessarily press on. Shang Yunjuan was no longer squatting on the ground, she stood up and smiled embarrassingly. It seems that I'm a bitch. I'll pretend that nothing happened just now. Lin Feng, touch me. This is not good. I won't have any other opinion on you, Shang Yunjuan said. But your sister. Why did you want to go to my sister's place again? Didn't I tell you? You have nothing to do with my sister. Shang Yunjuan's position is very clear. Lin Feng can have a relationship with her, but she can't have anything to do with her sister. She wants her sister to have a bright future too. Looking for a tall, rich, and handsome, the happiness of her life is guaranteed. This sister can also shine. Lin Feng did not say that Shang Yunjuan is selfish, because this is not selfishness, it is human nature. Poor and lowly married couples grieve for everything and have no money in their hands. The so-called happiness may really be very limited. Watching others eat well, wear well, drive well, and use well, I have nothing. Even if it is very comfortable to do that, after all, I still feel that there is too much missing, so that derailment and divorce, which are not in the vows, have become a reality. But Lin Feng was still very unhappy in his heart, and said with a smile, Sister Shang, if I leave now, Do you want me to move out? No, no, you can go, just pretend nothing happened just now, remember, don't tell anyone. I'm leaving. Lin Feng really left, leaving Shang Yunjuan's house, but Shang Yunjuan's fragrance accompanied him all the way. Until he returned to the partition room, his body was still very straight. He was very depressed, but he was also very impulsive. If he stayed just now, then he would definitely get Shang Yunjuan's body. The charming woman Shang Yunjuan would take off her and show him, maybe she would twist up, and then the two would start doing that. But what is certain is that as long as he and Shang Yunjuan have done it, Shang Yuna will soon know. Most of Shang Yunjuan will share this feeling with Shang Yuna. The two sisters are together, and they can talk about any topic. Even if Shang Yunjuan doesn't talk about it, Shang Yuna will soon find out the clues. Although the scene of catching up with Shang Yuna was not big, Lin Feng still hoped that Shang Yuna would have a better impression of him. When you go to Shang Yuna's sister, it will be difficult for Shang Yuna to have a particularly good impression of him. When she sees him, she will think that you did that thing with my sister. Lin Feng even thought about whether he wanted to move or not. Although this partition room is very quiet, he still has a lot of affection for it. Here, his career of writing online novels has improved to a certain extent. Here, he solved the problem. He became his first boy and experienced the joy of love between men and women. As long as he can, he should live there. With his current income, he can't afford to rent an independent one-bedroom apartment, but he doesn't want to waste that money, so he might as well save more money to prepare for his future life. After being impulsive and resentful, Lin Feng calmed down a lot, and gave up the idea of moving for the time being. If Shang Yuna, the sister of the beautiful landlord, really doesn't want him to live in the future, and encourages her sister to let him move, it will not be too late for him to leave. Shang Yunjuan was very distressed. She thought she could come with Lin Feng tonight. She even thought about what posture she would use. She was going to be the queen, and she was going to ride on Lin Feng's body and wriggle wildly. But Lin Feng left, lonely and empty, she cried. Her tears were crystal clear and bitter. Once again, she regarded herself as the most unfortunate person in the world. She didn't even have a man, and she couldn't do it if she wanted to. Shang Yunjuan hesitated for a moment, but still dialed Shang Yuna's cell phone. At this time, Shang Yuna had left the disco with a few friends and was sitting in a restaurant for supper. She was very happy when she was playing in the disco. Shang Yuna twisted and swayed wildly. Many people envied her figure, and many people admired her dance steps. Maybe some people approached her and tried to open a room love, but let Shang Yuna despise. Shang Yuna is a very shrewd girl. If love doesn't come to fruition, she won't let a man play with her easily. Maybe she will still be a first daughter on the night of the bridal chamber. Seeing that the call was from her elder sister, Shang Yuna walked away a long way before picking it up. Sister, have you done it yet? It didn't work, Lin Feng left, he doesn't seem to want to be with me. He doesn't want it at all, it's impossible, my sister, you are so good, it should be no problem to seduce Lin Feng. He seems to be very concerned about your opinion of him. That kid seems to like you a little bit. What kind of thing is he, a little bad writer, who likes me? I'll warn him later. I reminded him several times. You don't have to warn him again. Don't keep provoking him, or he will really move away. Hey, my good sister, it seems that you have been fantasizing about Lin Feng. Okay, then I won't irritate him, maybe after a long time, you will take him down and use him ruthlessly. Don't irritate me, I'm already uncomfortable enough. Shang Yunjuan sighed and hung up the phone. 2 days have passed. Lin Feng's life was as usual, and when it was time for lunch, Lin Feng walked out of the partition room and quickly walked to the streets of Beijing. There are several colleges and universities nearby. There are many students walking on this street. There are couples who rent a house and live together in the nearby community, and there are also people who come here to eat. The food in the school cafeteria is no worse than roadside restaurants in terms of taste and quality, especially the quality, which is only high but not low, but there are still many students who go to roadside restaurants to eat. Maybe this can cost more money, no, it will make people look down on it. Mixing in the cafeteria every day will always give people the feeling of being shy. Lin Feng saw a very hot figure, with a beautiful face, a graceful figure, and a very temperamental walk. Who else was it if it wasn't Shang Yuna? Lin Feng didn't really want to say hello to Shang Yuna, so as not to be ridiculed by her. When Shang Yuna was taunting him, she seldom left a word, but Shang Yuna had already walked over to him, showing a contemptuous smile. Lin Feng thought to himself, Lao Tzu has his own career and hobbies. He struggles every day and runs towards his ideals every day. Why do you despise Lao Tzu? Don't think that you are a beautiful woman and you are very attractive, and Lao Tzu despises you too. Just like that, Shang Yuna didn't say hello to Lin Feng, nor did Lin Feng say hello to Shang Yuna. Shang Yuna was no longer the girl who let the thief steal her crazy love on the overpass, and Lin Feng was no longer the hero. It was raining that day, and it was moist with tenderness. Today there is only wind, and it is dry and cool. Lin Feng's mood was affected. Even the double-cooked pork rice bowl, which he liked very much, was tasteless, but he still finished it and couldn't waste it. Even if new discs were launched from time to time, he would finish it. Lin Feng walked for more than half an hour and returned to his partition room. He sat on a chair and prepared to write. He lit a cigarette and turned on the computer. At this moment, someone knocked on his door. He walked over and opened the door. It was Shang Yuna. She was not the iceberg beauty in the legend. She was originally a very delicate and hot beauty, but at this time her face was very cold. Sister Yuna, do you have anything to do with me? Don't you see it, kid? You offended me. Maybe I really offended you, what do you think? Lin Feng said with a smile. You are really not afraid of the sky and the earth. Do you know that it is difficult to find a house now? I checked last night, and many housing listings don't seem to be as serious as you said, Lin Feng said. It seems that you are very conscious, and you are ready to move. That's just right, hurry up and get ready, get out of here in 3 days. It's not getting out, it's moving away. It's not moving, it's getting out. You told me to drive away, what are you going to get out of? Shang Yuna sneered. Lin Feng twisted Shang Yuna's buttocks, he felt the softness, but Shang Yuna jumped up in pain, screaming. Even on the bus, if a man accidentally touched her butt, she would be very angry, but Lin Feng twisted her severely. I really wanted to chop off his hand, but there was no knife in his hand. He really wanted to use a bullet to pierce a hole in his palm, but he didn't have a gun in his hand. At this time, all she had was a curvaceous body and a mouth to shout, so she shouted. You bastard, believe it or not, I'll call the police. What kind of are you, you screw my ass? Hurry up and stop shouting. If you shout again, everyone outside will hear it. It's just this dilapidated house separated by plasterboard. You think I'd like to live in it? It doesn't matter to Lin Feng, so that people outside are not afraid to hear him, but Shang Yuna is very worried. She is the landlord's sister and the second landlord. She doesn't want to make any scandals in this house, otherwise it will make some unpopular people. Men treat her as a fantasy object. You little rascal. Actually, I'm a very decent person. Even if I've had a relationship with a woman, it's a normal need. There are very few men and women in this world who don't do that. Well-trained professors are fierce and brilliant stars. It's even more violent. The letter love of white-collar and golden-collar workers may be very sentimental, but the letter love of migrant workers and porters is rough, so it's not bad. What kind of ball are you? You're just a college teacher. Shang Yuna cried. She has never been scolded so hard by anyone before. If she knows Kung Fu and can beat Lin Feng, she will definitely be sent to the hospital, the medical expenses are all covered, and she wants to beat him with 2 years' salary. Pause. I'll call my sister here. Shang Yuna called Shang Yunjuan. At this time, Shang Yunjuan was busy in her graphic production center. When she was busy, she would not be walking on the road. She was wearing an apron and brushing banners with the staff. The apron has red paint. Shang Yunjuan raised her hair that had just been permed, picked up the phone, and said with a smile, "Yuna, what's wrong? Woo woo woo. Don't cry, what happened, who bullied you?" "Lin Feng." "What happened to him?" "He scolded me hard. He used the worst words on me. I'm very wronged." "Sister, come here and drive him away," Shang Yuna choked. Shang Yunjuan was depressed. Why is Lin Feng like this? What is he doing to provoke Shang Yuna all the time? Shang Yunjuan began to think about a very serious question, whether she wanted to go, and if she did, would it make the situation worse? What is needed now is to solve the problem, not to intensify the contradiction. If I go over and there is a quarrel, many tenants will hear it. Why don't you tell Lin Feng to come to our house? That's not good. It's easier to deal with him this way. Also, Shang Yuna looked at Lin Feng, "My sister asked you to come to my house. She asked me to go, I'll go, I won't go, you go, I'll move," Lin Feng said. Shang Yuna snorted coldly and left. Lin Feng began to search for houses. He didn't expect it to be so sudden. He originally wanted to live there, but now it seems that he can't move. When Lin Feng helped Shang Yuna take Love Crazy's mobile phone from the thief, he never expected that his relationship with Shang Yuna would become so rigid. At that time, he knew that Shang Yuna was Shang Yunjuan's sister, and he was excited for a long time, because Shang Yuna was very beautiful and graceful, and was his favorite. Now it seems that Shang Yuna is very arrogant, it is not so easy to have something ambiguous with her. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 39. After more than an hour, Lin Feng finally found a more suitable room, which was also a partition room. He called, but he had already rented it out, so he could only find it again. Lin Feng is very depressed. When he has money in the future, he must buy a house of his own in Beijing. He even wants to buy a mansion of more than 180 square meters, but the mansion is a little far away from him. But it is not necessarily impossible to reach far away. If he gallops, he may be able to circle the earth several times. He felt that even if he lived in a big villa, his eyes would not be arrogant, but at that time, he didn't know what he would become. Wealth is changing, and people are changing. In the past, he had a friend. When he opened a small knife noodle restaurant at home, he looked at people very modestly, but when the small knife noodle restaurant turned into a restaurant, he looked at people with arrogance. Send a hard box of Zonghua, and also said that smoking should be good. Later, someone took the hard box Zonghua that he sent and said that the hard one is not smooth without the soft one, and later he changed it to the soft one. Although that person had passed the age of practicing Kung Fu, he still wanted Lin Feng to teach him Kung Fu, but Lin Feng refused, and he didn't contact him much since then. Lin Feng thought at that time, as far as your virtues are concerned, he also taught you Kung Fu. If he really taught you, what you see is not hard and soft, but fists and feet. People like you are more suitable for being beaten, not beating people, no will work well. Lin Feng's cell phone rang again. It was from Shang Yunjuan, the beautiful landlord, and Lin Feng picked it up. Sister Shang, I'm looking for a room. Don't rush to find a room, come to my house. I don't want to go, I have decided to move. Sister Shang is begging you, come on, Shang Yunjuan said anxiously. Since Lin Feng lived here, Shang Yunjuan has always been kind to him. He lost his keys within 3 weeks of moving here. Shang Yunjuan drove over to give him the keys in the middle of the night, without scolding him. That time, Lin Feng once again stimulated Shang Yunjuan's full breasts, and she didn't know what her would look like when Shang Yunjuan took off her breast photos. When a woman is dressed and undressed, her body shape will look a little different, because clothes can reflect a person's body shape. Wearing jeans and sweatpants will make the buttocks look big, but wearing leggings will make the buttocks not so big. Shang Yunjuan also gave him a lot of encouragement. Maybe Shang Yunjuan didn't think he would be a character in the future, but he still gave him a lot of encouragement, like he was very optimistic about him, but he was not optimistic at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't mind so much about his thoughts on Shang Yuna. Thinking of Shang Yuna, Lin Feng would be entangled. Even if he couldn't fall in love, he could just be an ordinary friend. Don't be so arrogant and unruly. It's better to give Shang Yunjuan a little face. Lin Feng's principle is to be right about things and not people. The conflict between him and Shang Yuna is nothing to do with Shang Yunjuan. But that's not right. If it wasn't for him refusing to have that kind of relationship with Shang Yunjuan, maybe Shang Yuna wouldn't have such a big resentment towards him. Although Lao Tzu's thing is very big, it is Lao Tzu's own thing. You can use it on whoever you want to use it. If you don't want to use it on your sister, you don't need it. Can you manage it? But that's not right. Lin Feng can't use that thing on anyone he wants. Walking on the street, he can see a lot of beauties begging. That, or a bunch of angry heroes would come and smash him with bricks, kick him and maybe stab him with knives. Lin Feng can also think that if he really did that thing to Shang Yunjuan, Shang Yuna's attitude towards him might be even worse. At that time, Shang Yuna would think, your kid has my sister, that thing of your kid. He rushed into my sister's body and started banging, you're such a rascal. When Lin Feng arrived at Shang Yunjuan's house, he saw Shang Yuna sitting angrily on the sofa. He probably wanted to grab a teacup and throw it at him, but it was nothing. Whatever Shang Yuna threw, he would take it. In Kung Fu, although you can't hit people casually, you can still pick up things. Lin Feng, sit down. Lin Feng sat down, and the monk Yuna was far away. Lin Feng didn't use the corner of his eye to glance at Shang Yuna, he seemed indifferent, even a little cool. Shang Yunjuan made tea and brought it over. The scented tea was very strong. She sat next to Lin Feng and said with a smile, Wu Yutai scented tea, peony hydrangea, has a strong scent and is very refreshing. Lin Feng didn't drink tea right away, but just smiled, actually, I'm not too angry. The reason why I want to move out is not just because I quarreled with Sister Yuna. Actually, I wanted to move out a long time ago. Do you think my partition room is too messy? There are too many neighbors and people from any industry, which affects your creation. There is a reason for this. But if you want to save money, even if you move away from me, it will be a partition room elsewhere, and it will also be a partition made of gypsum boards. It is also not soundproof. At that time, you may meet more strange people. There may be thieves, there may be perverts, and you see, so far, there have been no thieves or perverts in my tenants. Shang Yunjuan was telling the truth, and it was almost impossible for Lin Feng to refute it. Aside from the fact that Shang Yunjuan wanted Shang Yuna to hunt for her son-in-law, Shang Yunjuan was actually a very down-to-earth person. In the past, a tenant lied that he had no money to eat, and found her to borrow 500 yuan. She readily agreed, but the tenant took the money and ran away overnight. Shang Yunjuan didn't take any way to find him, just smiled. Just a smile. If she is not a very kind landlord, she would normally not lend money to tenants, so Shang Yunjuan is very kind. For some people, you can let him run errands, but dealing with money is absolutely impossible. The act of buying things and paying the bills makes people want to slap him. Sister, What's the matter with you? I told you to drive him away, but I didn't ask you to persuade him to stay, Shang Yuna said angrily. Shut up. Okay, he's your sweet treat, you can go to him. Shang Yuna punched the sofa and got up and ran to her bedroom. Maybe Shang Yuna was crying, maybe Shang Yuna was changing her underwear. Lin Feng didn't think too much, smiled awkwardly. Sister Shang, because of me, it's not worth letting you and Yuna have a conflict, I'd better move. Shang Yunjuan was very anxious. She wanted to hug Lin Feng, but she was afraid of scaring him, so she sat closer to him and said with a smile, "Don't move, it's not as cheap as me anywhere else." Sister Shang, in fact, you are not very cheap here. It costs 900 yuan a month. If you go to other places, you can rent a partition room of the same specification. I'll give you 500 yuan a month. Lin Feng was surprised. He didn't expect that Shang Yunjuan would drop him so much rent, so she would lose nearly 5,000 yuan a year. Sister Shang, forget it, you don't have to do this for me, otherwise my heart will be uncomfortable. I'll save you money, you're not feeling well, I don't take you like this. When you go out, making money is important, and friends are also very important. Sister Shang treats you as a friend, don't you think that Sister Shang is a friend? It's not easy for Shang Yunjuan to talk about this kind of affection. Maybe she has a purpose, but it's still not easy. 500 yuan a month, for Lin Feng, is extremely cost-effective. Lin Feng smiled and said, Sister Shang, then I won't move. Look at how beautiful you are, you have made such a big profit, go back and have fun, remember, don't keep talking about moving, as long as Sister Shang still has a house to rent, you can stay there. Jin bought a house before leaving. Sister Shang, you are so nice, then I'll go back first. Lin Feng left. Shang Yunjuan didn't drive him back. Lin Feng took a black car and left. He should have given 10 yuan, but he gave him 6 yuan. The driver also pulled him because the driver found him very angry. Lin Feng was angry for a moment, looking at the brightly lit night scene, and thinking about the rent of only 500 yuan a month, he smiled relievedly. He was impulsive once and lowered a lot of rent. If he was impulsive again, could he be exempted from it? Rent. Lin Feng felt again that Shang Yunjuan was a good person, too good to say, maybe it was because Shang Yunjuan had plans for him, so he was so good to him, but he did get benefits. People's hearts need a kind of warmth from women when they go out and mix, and Lin Feng got this kind of warmth from Shang Yunjuan. Shang Yunjuan arrived at Shang Yuna's bedroom. Shang Yuna had already put on her nightgown and was curling up on the bed to play with her love madness. If it wasn't for Lin Feng taking back her love madness from the thief, maybe she wasn't playing. Love is crazy, at least it will be another love crazy, love crazy, love crazy, love to be crazy together. This fashion Yun Na is crazy playing fruit fight, her hot body is twisting, and her round is pouting. Yes, as if a man was hitting her. That is gone. Gone. Are you going to move? If he doesn't move, I have lowered his rent, Shang Yunjuan said. Shang Yuna immediately shouted in astonishment, Sister, are you crazy? We bought this rental house together, and the rent will be divided by half. You lower the rent for that little writer, did you ask me? I'm asking you, you don't have to quarrel with me. I think it's really not easy for Lin Feng. For his own hobby, he gave up the opportunity to go out to find a job, and he has always worked hard. Stop talking nonsense, how much did you give him? 500 a month, down 400. Sister, your brain is really flooded. It dropped 400 a month, and that year was 4,800. I bought a 16G Love Crazy, and I still have some money left. I even have a genuine mobile phone case and spare earphones. Come on, don't fall in love, Yun Na, if you feel that you are losing money, and when you go back and divide the money, my sister will supply you, and you can assume that the partition room is rented to him for 900 per month. What kind of thing is he? Is it worth letting you do this to him? Even if it is 18 a month, I don't want to rent it to him. Don't forget, he helped you. Don't say this, I won't be grateful to him for the rest of my life. Shang Yuna burst into tears. Shang Yunjuan was mentally prepared before walking into Shang Yuna's bedroom. She knew that there would be a quarrel. Shang Yunjuan felt sorry for her sister, and she was also a person who had experienced storms. She didn't say anything, just sat quietly on the sofa beside the bed. Gradually, Shang Yuna stopped crying. Sister, don't be sad. Since you have such a favorable impression of Lin Feng, let's do it like this. 500 is 500. You don't have to pay me any more money. I want to sleep, so go out first. Shang Yunjuan finally breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, Yuna, I know you are a considerate person, then I'll go out first, you can rest well. Shang Yuna thought, sister, don't think I don't know, you took pains to let Lin Feng stay, just because you wanted to use his thing, not just because it's hard to see him working hard. Lin Feng bought a big bucket of Coke from the roadside, and after returning to the partition room, he drank it while watching the film. Hearing a knock on the door, Lin Feng guessed that it was Cao Shuiying, walked over to open the door for her, and saw a beautiful neighbor wearing a lavender night dress. Cao Shuiying slipped in like a thief and closed the door. She smiled charmingly at Lin Feng, I didn't even wear a chest photo or shorts, I did it in one step. Then why didn't you take off your nightgown and come here with your bear? I'm afraid that someone will see me in the corridor. Cao Shuiying said tenderly, I have Coke, pour me some. Lin Feng took a disposable cup from the drawer, poured Coke for Cao Shuiying, and drank the Coke together and watched that movie. First, I looked at Eastern Yang style, and then began to watch European and American styles. Cao Shuiying was panting while watching, she was already very impulsive. We had a good time tonight. I'll move out tomorrow. Where to move? Moving back to the dormitory. I actually don't want to go back at all, but my dad insisted on letting me go back, and he taught me a lesson, saying that you can't even handle the relationship with your roommates well. What else can you do in the future? Not let them. It's a skill to make money from you and let them turn around you. Your dad is an old fox, Lin Feng said with a smile. What are you talking about? If my dad is an old fox, am I not a little fox? Then we lie on the bed and entangle with each other. It's not intimacy, it's liaozai. Cao Shuiying's slender hand twisted against Lin Feng's waist. It still hurts. The beautiful neighbor is very pungent. From a personal point of view, Lin Feng didn't want Cao Shuiying to move out. It would be more convenient to do that. Anyway, it was white to let him on, not white, not to mention Cao Shuiying's beauty and hot water. Very comfortable. But Lin Feng would never stop Cao Shuiying from moving out. It would be better for Cao Shuiying to live in the dormitory. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 40. Looking at the relationship we have done many times, let me settle the account for you. If you start from the freshman year, you spend 200 yuan per semester to invite your roommates to dinner, then a year it is 400 yuan. After 4 years of college, you don't even need 2000 yuan. Your home is a restaurant, and a restaurant. Some of it is money. I estimate that your personal small treasury has hundreds of thousands or even millions. You buy a set, cosmetics cost thousands of dollars, do you care about this little money? I never thought about the situation you mentioned. Although it's a small amount of money, if it's spent on someone else, I might care. You can't think like that. Why did you invite them to dinner, instead of asking them to thank you? As long as there are no other frictions, a meal is enough to make you and your roommate get along well for half a year. If you don't want to clean up, just shout, maybe there will be roommates to help you clean up. You lie on the bed tired, shout casually, there may be roommates to help you pour water for you, you pay a small amount of money, but you can exchange for such good results. Is it worth it? It takes a lot of money to find a part-time job, not to mention a long-term roommate. Lin Feng, you are very talented. I have been taught, so I will invite them to dinner when I go back. You probably haven't invited them before. This time you spend 500 or 600 to treat them to a good meal. They will be very moved. They will find that Cao Shuiying has changed. Okay, Cao Shuiying kissed Lin Feng's face. Lin Feng thought, in fact, you have changed. I never you before, but now I have you, although before I you, someone has you, and it's really comfortable to do that with you. Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying continued to watch the Malay movie, and soon hugged and kissed passionately. Halfway through the kiss, Cao Shuiying's sweet tongue suddenly retracted, and she smiled charmingly. If my roommates know that I am so depraved, they will be surprised. Don't let them know. I wouldn't tell them this, otherwise they would find out that I often fool around with my neighbors when I went out to rent. It would be too embarrassing. Cao Shuiying's voice gradually grew tired. It's so comfortable, I like it. Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying rolled onto the bed. Lin Feng took off the lavender night dress on Cao Shuiying's body, and bit her buds. Oh husband. Oh. Husband. Lin Feng is not Cao Shuiying's husband, and it is impossible for Lin Feng and Cao Shuiying to become boyfriend and girlfriend, but he doesn't mind Cao Shuiying calling his husband when he is cool. The sound of body slamming, splashing water, Cao Shuiying's petulant panting and shouting. The symphony lasted for more than an hour, and Cao Shuiying gasped for a long time, and then looked at Lin Feng very tenderly. You are also great, your future wife is blessed, it is cool to let you play. Maybe I will move after returning to the dormitory, I will occasionally come to see you. You can come or not. Lin Feng thought, when you moved away, you were in the past tense in my life, and the past tense can be reenacted or gone forever. Maybe when you get married and lie on the bed of the bridal chamber with a man, you will think that there was a boy named Lin Feng who made you very comfortable. Maybe by that time, you have forgotten who Lin Feng is, but your future husband is difficult to compare. Lin Feng's stuff is bigger, unless the man was caught from the tropical rainforest in Africa. Cao Shuiying moved out. Cao Shuiying first spent more than 500 yuan to invite 3 roommates to eat barbecue, and then the 3 roommates happily came to help her move. Lin Feng was resting on the bed and didn't come out to help. He heard the girl's chirping voice. Every girl had fungus, and every girl felt very comfortable. Lin Feng wouldn't go to them easily, because they didn't know who Lin Feng was, and Lin Feng didn't know who they were either. The partition room next to Lin Feng is vacant again. Maybe someone will move in tomorrow, maybe it will be empty within a week. I don't know if Cao Shuiying will come in the future, maybe she will find a new boyfriend soon, maybe she will be single for a long time. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Feng just sat down on the chair and wrote less than 2,000 words when he received a call from Wang Wei, a female college student. Xiao Yi, what's wrong? Listening to your tone, it's very arrogant. What's the matter? My mother is kind and wants to treat you to a good meal. Don't go. It's really irritating. I invited you to dinner, and you still have such a big style. You have raised 5 yuan for the manuscript. You don't know your old classmate. Listen to what you said. Even if I get 500 yuan per 1,000 words, I will know you. You have such an long legs. I don't know who you know. Fuck you, my legs aren't as long as your ex-girlfriend Shen Binkian's legs, and they're not as tight as hers. Can you come? Okay, I'll go. You scold me. I didn't scold you. I'll go, I'll find you. Lin Feng set off ahead of schedule, because he didn't plan to take a taxi, but took the bus there. There was nothing urgent anyway. Lin Feng got on the bus. After 2 stops, an old lady came up. After a few wobbles, she stabilized and began to look pitifully at the seated people. Lin Feng was very afraid of this look. He stood up first and let the old lady sit down. He grabbed the handrail and stood beside the old lady. Soon something depressing happened, not a thief, but two girls, Shang Yuna and Sun Yueling. Neither of them thought that Lin Feng was in the car. When Shang Yuna wanted to drag Sun Yueling out of the car door was closed. The car is about to leave the station, please help it, the next stop, bang bang bang. Shang Yuna looked very arrogant. Lin Feng said in her heart, arrogant to your sister, be careful if a thief takes out your phone. Sun Yueling, a married woman, blushed. She only glanced at Lin Feng and stopped looking at him, but her face was still so red because Lin Feng had given her many pleasures. Lin Feng carried her legs or when holding her waist to do that, it was very hard. Sun Yueling's current husband is not bad in that respect, and it can give her pleasure, but compared with Lin Feng, her current husband is not at the same level at all, only about 1/3 of Lin Feng's fierceness. But Sun Yueling never thought of going to the partition room to find Lin Feng again. Even if Lin Feng asked her out, she would not go there. With her husband, she would be a very quiet woman and give birth to that man's children. This beautiful girl, Shang Yuna, is really a thief, and soon there was a man who looked very handsome and graceful and put his hand into her trousers pocket while deliberately looking away. At least 5 people have seen it, but no one said anything. The conductor also saw it, and he couldn't stand it any longer. He started to remind everyone, please take care of your own things, and you are about to turn a corner, please help. There was at least a few hundred meters of straight road ahead, but the driver had already understood that there was a thief in the car, and he braked suddenly. Everyone in the car let out a whimper, and the thief took his hand out of Shang Yuna's trouser pocket for a while. Her delicate face turned ashen, and she squinted at the conductor angrily. Stab you to death. When conductors see this kind of people a lot, they usually won't anger them on the spot, but they won't be afraid either. This thief in his early 20s really has a kind of perseverance. His hand actually stretched out to Shang Yuna's trouser pocket again. Lin Feng was furious. The moment he got up, he punched the thief in the face. With a bang, the thief's nosebleed came out, his body shook a few times, and he bumped into a few people next to him. After a while of sighing, everyone became quiet. The thief had blood on his face and gold stars in his eyes. He scolded, damn, you don't want to live anymore, I stab you to death. Bang bang. Lin Feng slammed 2 more punches, one hit the thief's chin, and the other hit his stomach. Oh ah! The thief squatted down with a scream. Lin Feng was so angry that he raised his knees and pushed it hard against the thief's forehead, causing the thief to lie down. In fact, the thief had 2 accomplices in the car, but seeing that Lin Feng was so capable of fighting, he didn't dare to show his face. Driver, stop, Lin Feng shouted. The driver was in awe of Lin Feng, and quickly parked the car on the side of the road. The moment the door opened, Lin Feng grabbed the thief and threw it out. The thief fell heavily on the side of the road, and at the same time, the 2 accomplices of the thief also got out of the car. The car drove away. It was quiet at first, and then thunderous applause broke out. Shang Yuna was embarrassed to the extreme, thinking, my love is crazy, you really don't let me worry, and it was almost stolen and put on Lin Feng again. Yes, it was a fierce fight, and the thief's face was covered in blood. Sun Yueling was very excited. After all, Lin Feng was a man who had with her. The man who made her feel comfortable many times had beaten a thief just now. He was very sturdy. At this time, what flashed in Sun Yueling's mind was the scene of Lin Feng pressing her body against her body and the scene of Lin Feng's iron fist hitting the thief's face. If Lin Feng suddenly punched her when he was playing with her, I'm afraid she would die. In bed. What are you thinking about? Sun Yueling felt that she was a little sorry for her husband if she thought about it like this, but when she and her husband were at that time, if she closed her eyes slightly, she might imagine Lin Feng. The people in the car are very dissatisfied with Shang Yuna. They are all thinking, "Beauty, why are you like this? That buddy helped you, why don't you even say thank you? Beauty, you haven't said thank you yet, isn't it a bit too dragging?" Someone reminded. Shang Yuna really wanted to kick that troublesome person, but she still looked at Lin Feng. "Thank you." Lin Feng didn't say anything. He didn't even look at Shang Yuna's face. He looked out the window and admired the scenery. If he wasn't in the car, he would have lit a cigarette at this moment. Shang Yuna thought to herself, "Lin Feng, you are so arrogant, don't think that you helped me again, I'll be so grateful to you, I'll throw love crazy when I look back." Shang Yuna and Sun Yueling got out of the car ahead of time. Shang Yuna took out love crazy to have a look. She didn't throw it the ground, but looked at the time and pretended to be. "Lin Feng is amazing. Yueling, you are married now. Your husband is very good to you. You can't think about Lin Feng. That kid made so much money from you and ate so much tofu from you. You should scold him in your heart. I have never blamed him. Every time I think of him, my heart warms up. Lin Feng is fine. Don't be too mean to him in the future. Please, Yueling, am I mean? We have been friends for many years. Based on what you know about me, am I mean? You're not mean to others, you're brilliant and grand, but you're mean to Lin Feng. That's because this kid has offended me. You shouldn't always say good things about him in the future, and don't always think about him." Shang Yuna said so, but what flashed in her mind was the scene of Lin Feng beating the thief. His fists were so hard and his speed was so fast. Even a little bit of taekwondo is fine.